Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, good evening. So we just hit a crazy play on HIMS. We caught the news. We had an awesome day today. We hit every SPY play. We got 200 percenters. We got value, got core weave. There was a lot of good things, but we're still waiting on the Liberation Day. We got a little bit of back and forth. It's a nice little rotation, or it was looking like that. Dow is lagging a little. Tech is good, and then we are waiting for more details. The ISM was a very weird reaction in the sense that the market kind of did the opposite, then came back and then did the opposite again. But everybody's waiting on these tariffs, and welcome to April. We're getting ready for that. So got some big plays. I think we're going to chill for a little bit. I mean, we've been playing a lot today, and they've done good. But now, my friends, we're going to get ready for PHILO. All right. Wait, it says stream finished. Where's PHILO? Wait, do you guys hear me? Where's PHILO? Wait, do you guys hear me? Yeah, you guys hear me. All right. IPO. That WTF IPO might Hong Kong. Yeah, look. Is it still trading? All right, let me throw up the wire for you guys. No, I'm not doing it. I always get clapped on those. I always see it, and then anytime I try to do it, it doesn't work for me. God gives me the option plays. He doesn't give me those. Those ones aren't for me. I don't know how to do them. I'm not good at it, and then I'm like, oh, it'll be like HKD, and then it ends it for everybody. So I just, you know what? I'm going to just keep snaking my option chain and be content with that because we've been killing it. Okay, there's your wire. All right, let me go pee. And then I'll send out the alert, and then we'll start getting ready here for PHILO. Do we have time? Yeah, 10:10. Perfect. Perfect. All right, I'll see you in a little bit.
Will probably tomorrow, and certainty is usually kind of reacted pretty well. But I do think that once we think about all of these investigations that we're going to have, there is going to be months upon months of uncertainty related to tariffs. I would think that probably where we get some level of certainty in this market is as we get closer to summer, we deal with the tax cuts. I do think you're going to see a permanent extension of that. That's where the market's pivoting. And I've always questioned how much of the uncertainty around tariffs in the conversation about the revenue those are going to be bringing in is providing a permission structure for Republicans on Capitol Hill to be able to be bigger and bolder and simpler on that tax cut extension, Kelly.
We got to go, but because this will set up the next discussion we're going to have, so you don't think they're going to have a problem passing the budget bill, even though he had to pull his nomination of Stefanik in order to do so, no matter how things are looking in some of these Florida special elections today? You think they're going to have enough of a majority and even be able to keep the centrist? I mean, is it going to stay the way we understand it now, the Medicaid cuts and all of that?
All of those things are up for negotiations, and I think there's probably kind of lower Medicaid cuts at the end of the day. But Kelly, what I look at is that as soon as we have those special elections in Florida, even if they lose a seat, this is going to be the highest majority Republicans will have over the next 2 years.
Right.
Because unfortunately for Democrats, 2 of their members have passed away this last month. And so if Republicans are able to keep those 2 seats, they're going to be at 220. Democrats are at 213. That 7-seat margin is a lot better than that 1-seat margin that they've been operating under. You can lose more seats and still get this done. And I think that puts pressure on them. And they're also using the need to lift the debt limit as that crisis in deadline to get this over the hump.
All right, Ed, thanks. Appreciate it. For now, Ed Mills with Raymond James. Speaking of the Democrats, the Senate Dems are forcing a vote to challenge the emergency powers that the president invoked to potentially undo his tariffs on Canada. Emily Wilkins has the latest on this for us. Emily, what do we know?
Hey, Kelly. Well, we know that the Senate is set and ready to vote this afternoon on ending Trump's tariffs on Canada. Specifically, Senate Democrats are going to be forcing a vote on ending Trump's emergency order on the northern border. Remember, that emergency order going into place was how Trump was actually able to implement the last tariffs on Canada. And Senator Tim Kaine, he's using this legislative procedure to basically force Republicans' hand to vote on this declared emergency. Kaine said that the vote is a way to get Republicans on the record on whether or not they support the Trump administration's actions.
Yeah, you're right. WNS.
Republican colleagues have expressed concern about
good call, Chad.
wow, this could hurt my
And then light,
constituents, or
that
this
could be
raise
something
costs, this could
connected.
increase
Yo,
inflation.
light
It's
and
one
then
thing to express
WNS.
concern, but you've got an opportunity to
WNS
stop
does
them,
not
and that's
have
what we
cheap
should do, and
options.
that's
Be
what my
careful.
vote hopefully will accomplish.
Yeah, you got to start trying to scam if you want any of the cheap
Republican
ones.
Rand Paul, libertarian. He's one of the only Republicans who's co-sponsoring the measure, but he's not the only one who could vote for it. Several other Republicans who are also worried about the impact of Canadian tariffs include Senator Susan Collins, Tom Tillis, Chuck Grassley. They've all told reporters that they are considering voting for the measure. And remember, only 4 Republicans are going to be needed to join with Democrats here for this to pass the Senate. It would face a steep climb in the House, but it would really send a message on where Congress is thinking about tariffs at this point. You also saw Trump tweet on Truth Social urging senators to vote against this measure. Trump said that we are making progress to end this terrible fentanyl
bitch, dude.
crisis,
I grabbed it.
but
I got 100
Republicans in
shares.
the Senate most vote to keep the national
$6
emergency in place
$6.
so we can finish the job.
No, $5.93.
And Kelly, we're still
Give me
waiting on
that.
exactly what timing
Yeah,
is going
bro,
to
I
be
threw in
like
the market.
for this
I'm a
vote,
bitch.
because Senator Cory
I had
Booker
to. I don't
has
want
actually
to, but
been
I had
speaking
to.
on the Senate floor
This is
since
such a
7
bad play.
p.m. last night, opposing numerous actions from the Trump
fucking hate
administration. And so that's thrown off the floor schedule a bit for today. But the senators say that as soon as he's done, they are expecting to take this vote.
Emily, what are you hearing in terms of any changes that could be made
Be careful,
or
bro.
not
I
to
don't
the
want
budget
this to
bill?
back.
And
These
what
ones
the plan
always backfire,
is
dude.
there for
That's what I'm saying.
continuing to try
I'm
to push
saying
that
that
legislation
genuinely.
through?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
It's
not.
a really great
so be
question,
careful.
Kelly, because
I
at
don't
this
have.
point,
I don't
what
do
we've
good
seen
on
is
these,
that
bro.
the
They
House
always
and the
flip
Senate
on me.
are having a
So
very
just be
difficult
careful.
time coming together and getting an agreement on exactly what the cuts are going to be, how much
Yo,
they're going
light,
to be able to
L-I-T-E.
spend. They were kind of
There's
floating
shitty
this
options on
two-tier
that,
system where the
but
House
that one's
would lock
popping as
into
well.
$1.5 trillion in cuts, but the Senate would only have $3 billion. It doesn't sound like that would be able to pass in the House, though. Lots of concerns are there. Still, lawmakers, especially for Republicans, they told Trump they would have this done before the Easter recess. They're going to be leaving town the week after next. They want to put points on the board. They want to say they've got something done. They've been telling their members, hey, we will work this out in the future. We just need your votes
Thanks
now.
for the call.
So
I
think
called
it's
it
gonna
out.
be very
Oh,
interesting
shit. Well, thank
dynamics
you.
over the next couple
Yeah,
days
man,
and
for
into
real.
next
You
week.
posting the
whether they
plays
are
and
going to be
setting a
able to
good
get the
example,
agreement.
bro.
And of course, as
Who would have
always,
thought? The
whether
guy
Trump's
named
gonna start calling
PNC,
up members and
post
telling
nut
them that
clarity.
he needs their votes.
And they're
I'll
like,
be very
Josh, you
curious if
banned
the White House
everybody.
keeps pressing
How
this
come I
line. They've
didn't
kind
ban
of floated a
post
trial
nut
balloon
clarity?
about raising
Huh?
taxes on high-income
How
earners
come?
in order to pass,
Exactly.
in order to galvanize support,
Exactly.
maybe avoid having to make some of the cuts,
Exactly.
maybe even get Democrats
It's
on
for the
board
people.
and do their tax cut on
Even with
tips.
the name don't matter. It's the
You know,
work.
it's interesting, Kelly, because I do think that there is a lot of bipartisan support around certain provisions of this tax package. You saw that last year. But at the same point, I think every Republican who I've spoken to so far has been against the idea of raising taxes on the highest earners. So I think we're getting a lot of trial balloons right now, and it's interesting to see how it's all playing out. This is all a big math game. It's all a big puzzle. They're going to have to set the parameters, and then all the policy that they fill in has to be to those parameters under the process they're using.
Emily, thank you. Appreciate it today. Emily Wilkins on Capitol Hill. The president's policy is not sitting well with voters, especially the economic ones, and it could prove problematic for
not sitting
Republicans.
well with the
Florida
media.
holding a special election today to fill those House seats.
All
vacated
local
by
staff,
National
U.S.
Security
diplomats
Advisor Mike
assigned to
Waltz and former
USAID
Congressman Matt
overseas
Gaetz. The
to be
races there
fired.
have tightened after the Doge spending cuts, signal group chat leak. Joining me now is pollster and political strategist Frank Luntz, who just conducted a focus group with Democrats. And Frank, you're just here to kind of bring us up to speed on today, April 1, a couple months into the administration. How would you assess the odds of the Republicans being able to push that major legislation, that budget bill, across the finish line?
The public is looking for a single principle. That principle is results. They don't understand any of these details. They don't understand the difference between the Senate and the House in taking a different strategy. To them, it's quite
This
simple.
guy sounds like Lutnick.
Accountability, efficiency, effectiveness, and that Washington hasn't done it. But there's a big caveat. They want these cuts. They want government to be more effective. They don't want it to come at the expense of a program like Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid. They absolutely want action right now, and that's another key word, but action that's indiscriminate, action that is unclear and unfocused is not what the public is looking for. Let me assert one key finding. In the sessions that we're doing with Democrats and Republicans, the agenda overall has significant public support, but the way it's being executed And the language that's being used to push it does not. And it's alienating people who would otherwise support the president. In the end, Donald Trump won not by traditional Republican votes, by union members, Latinos, some younger voters who had been voting Democrat in the past and switched because they saw that his administration was going to take real action right now. They applaud that, but they don't applaud the specifics. They don't applaud the way it's being implemented. And that's why I can't tell you where America will be 30 days from now, because I don't know where the administration is going to be 30 days from now.
Exactly. And it was interesting, the CBS YouGov poll that finds his broad support is still at 50%, but his support on the economy has fallen. His support on kind of inflation and tariffs obviously isn't there. On some other policies, it is more positive. So it doesn't sound like the president, though, is backing down from the approach he's taken so far.
And they want him to push, but they want him to push the right way. And tariffs is a great example. The public does not want America to be mistreated. They do not want this unlevel playing field. And so if countries are shown to be taking advantage of the American consumer, taking advantage of the American worker, the public says, push them. Absolutely, go ahead. But generically, if there isn't that kind of pressure,
J&J on the
public
low
would say, I can't afford it.
Again, they had the bad
I can't
news in the
afford higher
morning.
prices. I can't afford to pay these tariffs. And we're going to see this specifically is in auto sales. We know that there's been a massive increase recently because they're afraid that the cost of their car is going to be more. Food, fuel, housing, healthcare, and travel. Those are the items that the public cares about most.
Amen. All right, going down a little. You might be able to get a late stage play, but it's PHILO, so you know what the market do. But we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. But it's time. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and gals, it's PHILO time. We get to talk about life, bro. And today was good, man. You know, yesterday we did good too. We didn't do good on the spy, but today has been a hitter all around, man. So I hope you're ready for more. I'm excited this week. I already have been. And I've been liking this book, man. I've been liking the PHILO. I love it. It's opening my mind even more. Hearing some of the other ones. Stryker, SYK, decent pop. That was just a glitch, but it came back down. But yeah, here's the deal. We're going to talk about life. I got some big things I want to talk about. We're going to be reading a book, and that's what we've been doing here the last couple of days. But it's quite simple, man. I'm going to talk about life. I'm going to talk about God. I'm clearly one of these Jesus lover guys. That's why I talk about it. But I'm a work in progress. I don't think I'm the best example. I actually believe in Jesus because I need it. I don't think I'm better than anybody, actually. It's a weird... Anyways, but the whole point is, if you don't like hearing this, if you think this is nonsense, unfortunately, I'm not trying to force it upon you. And I say unfortunately because I'm here right now. I've been here, and you have chosen to be here. You have paid money. You have survived my abrasive personality, and you're here. So that means you want to be here. So if you are going to go back and forth and be distracting of PHILO, we're not going to tolerate it. And quite simply, if you think all of this is nonsense and you're here, all you got to do is focus on stocks. So I'll be able to read. I'll call out things as well. If something important happens, I'll put down my book and we'll read. So for the sake of workflow, and that's what I'm saying, why are you here right now? If you're not here to make money or better your life, then I don't get it. And that's the whole point. Because if you want to care about the PHILO, improving yourself, lock in. If you want to make money on the market, you want plays, we have literally hit every single play today. There's opportunities. I'd love to help. So pick it. Pick whichever you want. Anything that's not stocks, anything that's not PHILO, it's just a waste of time, and it's not good for the community and us working right now. So get it where you fit in. There is your warning. And now, before I get into the reading, let's get a little intro. Let's talk a little bit. And let me ask you, yesterday I told you guys about the 15 senses, okay? Did any of them stick out to you? Because I'm not going to lie, bro. I'm in there showering the next day after the gym, And I'm thinking of like, oh, I'm like showering, washing my hair, everything. And I'm thinking about the PHILO. Was there one that stuck out to you? There's no right answer. I'm asking you so that you actually like reflect on it, bro. You know that Trump agency firings include overseeing bird flu. Emotional sense, balance, affection. No, for real though, and this is what I'm saying, because like sometimes we hear the PHILOs, and believe me, I do this myself. Sometimes I hear these PHILOs, I'll read something, and I'll be like, wow, that's amazing. And then that's it. Make sure you reflect on it. And if something, bro, one of the best things in life is that you hear stuff and like you get drawn towards it, you know? And if you know that like you're paying attention, like I want you to think about that, all right? So I hope there was one that stood out to you. And I'm asking you if you do recall one. Yeah, WTF is open. That's insane. So yeah, it's just going nuts. Oh my goodness. But there was one that really caught my attention. And I'm glad that you guys said it. And I hope it was natural. I know I brought this up yesterday, but I couldn't shake this, bro. Affection. Bro, affection. And I realized something about myself. You know, I really feel that affection is very important for me. Because for me, if I don't have affection towards it, I don't do it. I mean it, Chad. That's why, like, I'm telling you, ask anybody, ask my girl, ask anybody who grew up with me. I'm a weird person. I'm very aware of it. But when I tell some of y'all, like, when I'm like, I love being here, I love you, I mean it. You know why? Because I really do have an affection towards it. And you could tell. When I have an affection towards it, I am so locked in. The moment I lose affection, I'm not really down anymore. And it's very important. And that's not the part that I realized, though. I'm going to tell you it right now. Because I realized, I'm like, it's not my problem. I don't really hate things. My problem is where my affection gets directed. And then I thought about it. My problem isn't that I have no affection. What's my problem? You tell me. Let's see. Let's see if you could think about it. Because some of you, I don't think you don't have affection. Some of you are angry. Some of you have lost love in your heart, and you need to find that. You need to get affection back. Get rid of the bitterness. Life, I understand. Believe me. Some people have different challenges, but there's something there that it kind of is affection for the wrong thing. There it is. Bro, I realized my problem was having too many affections. Yes. That's what I realized, because I'm like, well, I don't really hate. I don't hate, bro. I really don't. I've been blessed. You know, I could get mad and I could get passionate about things, but I'm telling you, bro, I just move on with shit. I've been done dirty so many times in my life. I move on. That's it. That's why, bro, some of y'all don't like me. I don't know why you're writing an email. That's weird. And not only weird, it's just a waste of time. But that, I've never gone to that point. I've never wrote anybody a hate email. I've never gone. I don't really hang on to shit like that. So I'm grateful that hasn't been my problem. But I've noticed that I will let things die. And what do I mean is that I will have too many affections. That's what I've realized. I realized that I will get a strong affection, and then life changes things. I'm like, oh, throw that one in there. And then throw that one in there. Oh, yeah, throw that one in there. Oh, yeah, I love this too. Yeah, I love this too. And now, before you know it, you got 20 affections all competing for your attention, time, and everything else. So this blew my mind because I'm so excited by it. Because now I realize for this quarter, I got to really focus on the things I really love, but only a couple of them. And really getting into it, and don't underestimate, bro. your affection is going to move your motivation. Your affection is going to get you doing things. Do you understand? So let me just tell you this. Whatever it is in life you're not feeling motivated towards, bro, start remembering your affection towards it. For real. Start really finding the love in things, and that's it. And then your problem is going to be having too many. That's mine. That's where I'm like, okay, I got to say no to a couple of things. I can't have an affection. Seriously, bro, I can't have an affection for too many material things. I can't have an affection for food. Again, that's what I'm telling some of y'all. Some of y'all, bro, I don't want to react how I have been to some people. I really don't. Believe me, I like being more affectionate. But guess what? It's not going to create what we need. And I can't, again, too many affections. What's the goal? So I don't think it turns into aggression. No. I think a lack of affection can, or misdirecting it. But really, though, in my instance, I've noticed, though, I start with a couple of affections very strong. And then as time goes on, I start adding more and more. And then little things find their way in. And then before you know it, I don't give the same intensity towards what I should have. Zelensky says he will meet on Friday with small circle of countries to contribute to foreign troops contingent in Ukraine. So that one really stood out, man. And I think it's word to what we talked about yesterday. Focus. And focus and affection. For me, this is something I was like, it's amazing. And honestly, too, and just don't ever forget, because that's something too, man. And it was really humbling because I got a nice prayer, bro. And I just, man, God is good. And I remembered a lot of things. And I remember what I really love and why I do certain things, bro. And it was just, it's nice. And it's nice to know. And just remember, your affections are going to motivate you. You know that, right? For real. That's what they always say, bro. Love. But you got to really start thinking about that. And if you really focus on that and nurture your affections, and remember, bro, I hope you have the affection for God and the Word. Because that right there, too, man, even at times, I've noticed when I'm more in love with my Bible than not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all feel me, bro. And don't forget, like, what happened when you first started getting into PHILO, bro? What happened when you first started cracking open Proverbs? Yeah, don't play with me. You remember? You loved it. Bro, your mind was open for the first time, enchantment. The first time you see something, you're like, wow. And think about it, you have a lot of affection. And then before you know it, you start throwing in a lot of other things. And that's okay, but that's why I'm telling you, like, dude, just don't forget, affection is big. And again, I don't know what it is for you. You all got your own. You all got to pick it. How do you choose? I don't know. All I know, though, see, that's what I'm saying. I do know, but I don't know. What matters? What's the most important affection? God. God, family, helping others. Everything else is bullshit. That's what that's what my discussion was yesterday. And I've had a lot of fun. I've gained affection for a lot of things. It's fun taking a lot of this stuff here, there, this, that, all of it. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, the effect, God, family, helping others. That's it. And that everything else is cool, but those are the big affections that have always driven me and have gotten me where I am in life. And that's why it's just a good reminder of, more God, more family. Again, let's really help people out with that real love. And again, all the other stuff, like, you got to really think about it. I like video games. I like eating out. I like the world. But it's funny because I feel like at times my affection wavers. But when it's all said and done, I just think I get distracted. And I think I got really reminded that I know where the love should go. And I know what I'm affectionate about, and I know what gets me motivated, and it's those things. I would even argue for all of y'all, it's almost the same too, you know, for real. I'll even tell you, you put God first, you're not going to have a problem. You know that? I've always told you, man, the principles and everything is just like, it's good to fall back on that. And just to know, man, like God, putting that first, you find affection in that word, it goes a long, long way. So, very simple. Yeah, this is a religious channel right now to pay. So, that's why we said it, sir. So, I'm glad that you're here. You could leave or I could ban you. Which one do you want? It's up to you. Oh, you want to laugh? Okay, now I'm banning you. Never mind, you laughed too soon. No, you're with me? Nope, too late. I already banned you. That's a waste of $5 now. Should have just stood patient. That's it. You shouldn't have distracted. Like I'm saying, I want to make money or I want to improve people's lives. Can you all agree with me? Because I've hit every play. I'm making money, but at the same time, like I'm telling you, I want you to control your affections. But above all else, I do hope that you guys put God first, okay? And that's the second part of this. Are you ready? This one's a big one. I heard this from Pastor, was it Philip Mitchell? I love that dude, bro. He's the guy in the beginning of the song Flesh. That's that preacher, Philip Mitchell. Really hard hitter, bro. He keeps it real. I love it. But he said something. And that's what I'm saying. It's crazy because like I had this whole talk with myself, you know? And then I hear this. And he starts talking about having new vices for the heart. And that's what he was saying. He was like, listen, man, before you get stressed out and pick up that blunt, before you tap that bottle next time you get stressed out, don't forget, bro, like you could condition yourself to get the same release out of good things that you would out of bad. And I believe this. I heard him say it. It relates to the affection. And I'm like, nah, man, facts. And I did want to share that with you guys today. Bro, do you realize you could get new vices for your heart? No, like for real. Have you're telling me you've never read a book or you've never read something one day? Or literally I say something and you're like, wow, Josh, I needed that today. Right? Yeah, bro. That's what the whole Bible is. But that's what he's saying, bro. Why are you turning next time you get stressed out? And I believe this at a practical level. Next time you get stressed out, if you have a self-destructive behavior, I encourage you to start turning it to something positive. Start creating new vices and new areas to turn. Yeah. So I'm saying before you turn to that, man, if you maybe get a little more affection out of that Bible, bro, before you open up that bottle, maybe open up the word first and just tell me what happens. You might be surprised. You might just brainwash yourself into finding a new vice for the heart. Literally, even the gym, bro. Yeah. You guys are saying the gym. I can't stress it enough. That is a way for the non-religious people. I really believe that's the easiest one. Because this highlights the concept at hand. So I'm saying before you go to a self-destructive behavior, bro, just go for a walk. Do you know what I'm saying? What if you could trick yourself into any time you're like, oh, I need a cigarette. Oh, I need to go for a walk. Oh, yeah, they don't feel me, baby. You know what I'm saying? But for real, I think this will be a very, very positive thing. And do you know why I'm telling you this? You see, you guys don't get it. You don't know. Why am I telling you this right now? Why is this important? Huh? Hymns again? No way. Wow. I'll look at premiums while you guys answer this. Why is this so important right now? The calls are still up 100%, the ones I flipped. Bro, do you know why this is so important right now? Yeah. End of the quarter, bro. We are starting a new quarter. We have started this new year. Some of you came out the gate swinging, baby. God bless you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you, you're here right now. You made it this far and you're already going through, and some of y'all doing good. You're already locking in. And you're like, yeah, I like this. I like the harvest is plenty, the workers are few. Let's go. Other people, you rose to the challenge. Other people ran away. Other people cried. You embraced it. My goodness, God bless you. That's all great. But do you see what I'm telling you right now? Let's go. Let's make it to the second half, or let's finish this first half of the year. But, bro, I need to remind you right now, I don't want no self-destruction bullshit. Do you hear me right now? No excuse. I'm not going to let you slide this time. Nobody is. There's no excuse for it. Do you hear me right now? You're doing good. You're proving you have the ability to do good. You're already making advancements. So that means when we run into our first problem this quarter, I don't want you to go run back to the vices and the behaviors that have kept you in the same place. I don't know who feel me right now, bro. Match. Tinder has a new chat bot that you could flirt with. That's terrible. But no, I hope y'all feel me, bro. That's what I'm saying. This isn't the time to rest. This isn't the time to fall back. You're not doing good enough where you can't prepare. No, we still got to work. We still got to prepare. And how you're going to do that right now is making sure that you don't have an Achilles heel. Making sure that your weakness isn't that when something goes wrong, you turn to the bottle, you turn to the bad friends, you turn to the gambling, you turn to everywhere that will empty you instead of fill you up. Did you hear me? You are turning to everything that'll empty you instead of fill you up. That's what I'm talking about. It's very well said. Because they said, Josh, they're asking me these questions about all this. I'm like, bro, it's very simple. You're here right now. I want you to get something that's going to fill you up. Don't be emptied. People ask these questions about how do you do this? How do you do that? I'm 19. How do I make sure I have money? Bro, did you not hear what I said earlier? The difference between you and your friends from age 20 to 30 and 35 is who are the people that poured in to the things that filled them up, or who were the people that poured their time and money and energy into the things that emptied them. You don't feel me. I know it's harsh, but that's the reality. And that's what I'm saying. Out of love, I don't want that to happen to you. And y'all don't get it. What, remember? Yeah, you don't get it. You don't get it, bro. See, I remember this one. I'm sure they wanted me to forget one of them, but I remember this screw tape. You don't remember? Do you think the goal of the demon is to not let you have success? Don't be a fool right now. So if you're doing good right now and you feel like you like this year and everything's going good, right? Yeah, that's how the demon's going to disappoint you. Disappointment is your Achilles, nothing else. Because then if you get disappointed, you turn to the vice that's going to put you back. That's what I'm telling you right now. You get disappointed, you think it's all good, and now you raised your hopes. You expected so much, it's easier to knock you out. You get it? Disappointment is coming, my friends. Don't act like it doesn't exist. Stop being a fool about it. It's real. It will arrive. But do you get the idea? When it arrives, I need you ready for it. So that when it arrives, you're ready to keep going and building. instead of, oh, man, and then you turn it around. And then before you know it now, all of that energy, that hard work, now you're pouring it into something that is only going to drain you and empty you. Not going to leave you with something long-standing, not going to develop you, not going to grow you, not going to push you, but empty you. So, Chad, let's get it. You got to start thinking about this and find it, and your body is capable. I'm telling you right now, your body, your soul, you got to trick it. Yes, I mean start turning to good things when you get stressed out so that you can make that your habit. But some of you this next quarter, I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be your test. Promise you. Somebody out of the thousands in here, by June, your battle is going to be, how do you handle the disappointment? And then do you turn to the vices that set you back, or did you turn to the things that will propel you? Because the funniest part is, by June, I'll know which one you chose. Does that make sense? You'll know. You don't even have to tell me your answer. It will show. So, chat. Let's get it, baby. Lock in and focus on those affections. But remember, put them in a good area. And get your body on the right path. And you've already done good, man. I'm proud of you. That's why I'm saying this. And if you feel like you didn't do good, my brother, this is your time. Maybe you already gave in to the disappointment that I'm talking about. Great. Let's rebound. But, bro, we got a long journey ahead. Even if we done good or bad, it doesn't matter. Be prepared for all of it. But, bro, you got to start pushing yourself in this direction. It's not, remember, I always told you that PHILO, bro. It was easy. This part's the easy part. Do you understand? Oh, we come into this year, everything works. Oh, we had a long term. Oh, yeah, no. That's the easy part. The hard part is, what do you do at the first disappointment? What are you going to do when you get punched in the face after thinking you're winning the fight? I don't want you unequipped for this. Like I said, you're going to be ready. I want you, when you get punched, you're going to smile. It's not going to catch you off guard. Again, I hope you turn to the good things. That's what you got to start focusing on. So, Chad, I hope you're ready for it, baby. And keep up the good work. The harvest is plenty. The workers are few, baby. Amen. 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 So, that being said, we are on chapter 3 of The Everlasting Man. It's the top of page 41. And he's talking about Egypt and Babylon. And pretty much he's going to start explaining how Egypt and Babylon were like the first societies and how they gave us more evidence of an advanced society. And he was talking yesterday about all these things. Well, not yesterday, 100 years ago. We just read it yesterday. But he was saying how, people say all of these things are a sign of intelligent society. But he says it's probably more probable that the evidence we have was more likely the end of a society rather than the beginning. And that's why he's saying, and then he ended it with a really interesting point. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I want to make sure you didn't miss this. He gave an analogy about a baby and an old man. And he said just because a baby and an old man are bald doesn't mean they do anything. Andreessen Horowitz said to help buy out TikTok's Chinese owners. That was a minute ago. But he said that analogy, and it blew my mind. And he brought up a really practical point. Because he was saying that if you believe it or not, like, let me ask you this. Do you think that strength was always regarded as a important thing from the beginning of time? Like, strong man and like, oh, wow, that's the most, like, do you think people followed strength? Do you think that was important back from the prehistoric time. Yes, of course. Yes. Well, I hate to disappoint you, but he's saying although there was strength and you saw it, I don't think that's something natural. Believe it or not. That's why he's saying you could find similarities in these societies, but just because they share these similarities doesn't mean it's there. You know, from the beginning of time, you had strong leaders, and there is evidence of people following strength and violence even, right? And these brutal, ruthless leaders attracted big followings in the early days, right? But he's saying if you actually notice it, though, there's something more important than strength. It's something that naturally every animal down to humans, we've kind of done this. Monkey see, monkey do. Copying and tradition. That actually has more of a history of what he's saying. He was saying it's more probable that these generations and early people adopted customs and they always respected and honored the age of old and they respected these customs. He says it's more probable they had societies that were formed around that rather than the later stage societies that rallied around strength and physical prowess. I said, wow, that's amazing. That blew my mind. But I want you guys to think about that. Why am I telling you this? Because out of all practicality, make no mistake, there is nothing new under the sun. Amen. What am I trying to tell you? Practicality. My brother, I think you could learn more about if you study the history and look at the tradition of what has existed in this world. What good is strength if you don't understand that? Oh, yeah. Apply that to your strategies. I hope they feel me. So now, continuing. The point here is this. However, that the Egyptian government, whether pontifical or royal, found it more or necessary to establish communications, and there always went with communication a certain element of coercion. Oh, yeah, we already read this one. That absolute sovereignty is something not merely ancient, but rather relatively modern. At the end of the path called progress, the men return to the king. That's what he's pretty much saying. Egypt exhibits in that brief record of its remotest beginnings the primary problem of liberty and civilization. It is the fact that men actually lose variety by complexity. So again, remember we talked about it yesterday. Democracy is good, but make no mistake, a lot of people choose democracy just because the other alternatives are complex. So for real, do I believe there is a better answer than capitalism? I do. Do I believe there's a way better answer than socialism? I do. I guarantee you the answer is way more complex than both of them. Do you see it? Complexity, simplicity, despotic, they go hand in hand. We have not yet solved the problem properly any more than they did, but it vulgarizes the human dignity of the problem itself to suggest that even tyranny has no motive save in tribal terror. And just as the Egyptian example refutes the fallacy about despotism and civilization, so does the Babylonian example refute the fallacy about civilization and barbarianism. Babylon also we first hear of when it was already civilized, for the simple reason that we cannot hear of anything until it's educated enough to talk. So again, I hope you guys understand that. That's another part of what he's been saying is that we have history, but all of the history is based, you needed writing. So think about it. Did people exist before history? Probably. How do you have history? They wrote it or they drew it. But does that mean people didn't exist before writing or drawing? Well, there you go. And that's why he's saying Egypt, they invented this writing apparatus that you use today. It talks to us, and then, yeah, Hims is breaking out. Spy right there. Newsmax on the high. Damn. It talks to us in what is called cuneiform, the strange and stiff triangular symbolism that contrasts with the picturesque alphabet of Egypt. However relatively rigid Egyptian art may be, there is always something different from the Babylonian spirit, which was too rigid to have any art. There is always a living grace in the lines of the lotus and something of rapidity as well as rigidity in the movement of the arrows of the birds. Perhaps there is something of the restrained but living curve of the river, which makes us, in talking of the serpent of the old Nile, almost think of the Nile as a serpent. Babylon was a civilization of diagrams rather than of drawings. Mr. W.B. Yeats, who has historical imagination to match his mythological imagination, and indeed his former is impossible without the latter, wrote truly of the men who watched the stars from their pedantic Babylon. The cuneiform was cut upon bricks, of which all architecture was built up. The bricks were baked mud, and perhaps the material had something in it forbidding the sense of form to develop in sculpture or relief. There was a static but a scientific civilization, far advanced in the machinery of life, and in some ways highly modern. It is said that they had much of the modern cult of the higher spinsterhood and recognized an official class of independent working women. There is perhaps something in that mighty stronghold of hardened mud that suggests the utilitarian activity of a huge hive. But though it was huge, it was human. We see many of the same social problems in Egypt or modern England, and whatever its evils, this also was one of the earliest masterpieces of man. It stood, of course, in the triangle formed by almost legendary rivers of the Tigris and the Euphrates, as well as the vast agriculture of the empire of which the towns depended, was perfected by highly scientific system of canals. It had, by tradition, a high intellectual life, though rather philosophic than artistic, and there presides over it the primal foundation, those figures who have come to stand at the stargazing wisdom of antiquity, the teachers of Abraham, the Chaldees. So again, this part, he's saying, look at Babylon, look at Egypt. Egypt was more artistic. Egypt was more, you had different elements, but then you go look at Babylon, you guys should know this. Babylon was very scientific. Babylon was hailed as it was the great country at the time. Again, they brought science, they brought money and math and all of this. Again, Babylon was a wild place. It had all the good and the bad all at the same time, but they had the aqueducts. They were scientific as much as they were anything. But he's saying whether you have high intellectual life or philosophically artistic, you still had the same challenges and not. But what is he all saying? It didn't matter if it was artistic or if it was scientific. Humans existed, and this way that we behaved also existed, even if it wasn't recorded. Are you understanding that? This idea that we look at things and get fascinated and draw, the way that we have this intelligence to create either an artistic or scientific system. Again, the everlasting man, do you see it? Doesn't matter of the society, whichever way it branches into, but these elements of a man in the brain of a man at play, I think it's clear throughout all the results. Against this solid society. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta see there. Yeah, WTF. I keep forgetting that's a play. I'm like, what do you mean, what the fuck, unhalted? I'm like, what are you talking about? But yeah, this is stock. Against this solid society, as against some vast bare wall of brick, there surged age after age the nameless armies of the nomads. They came out of the deserts where the nomadic life had lived from the beginning and where it still lived today. It's needless to dwell on the nature of that life. It was obvious enough and even easy enough to follow a herd or flock, which generally found its own grazing ground and to live on the milk or meat it provided. Nor is there any reason to doubt that this habit of life could have almost gave every human everything except a home. Many such shepherds or herds of men have talked in the earliest times of the truth and enigmas of the book of Job. And these were Abraham and his children, who give to the modern world for an endless enigma the most monomaniac monotheism of the Jews. But there was a wild people without comprehension of complex social organization and a spirit like the wind within them that made them wage war on it again and again. The history of Babylonia is largely the history of its defense against the desert hordes who came on at intervals of a century or two and generally retreated as they came. Some say that the admixture of nomad invasion built at Nineveh the arrogant kingdom of the Assyrians, who carved great monsters upon their temples, bearded bulls with wings like cherubim, and who set forth many military conquerors who stamped the world as if it was such colossal hooves. Assyria was an imperial interlude, but it was an interlude. The main story of all that land is the war between the wandering people and the state that was truly static. Presumably in prehistoric times, and certainly in historic times, those wanderers went westward to waste wherever they could find it. The last time they came, they found Babylon vanished, but that was in historic times, and the name of their leader was Mahomet. So, this one's a little weird. I don't really understand it. All I know in this paragraph, he's saying that in this society, not only do you have the Egyptians, then you have the Babylonians, but what did he introduce? He says you have this thing called nomads. And now these nomads come and go. And then, but no matter what, they had their own thing driving them. I'm assuming he's kind of implying they still acted as the everlasting man. But we'll keep reading. Spy coming down now. Yo, this is important. Putin and Russia urge China to further strengthen strategic cooperation. I don't think that's it, but you're dropping now. So hold on. Let me check that one play. Where's that spy play we sold? Let me double check that one. But yeah, you're going down now, finally. Okay, the premiums are a little higher. So if you held the premium I sold, you're actually up still. That's surprising. Yeah, these are going to work, I think. I want more time, but I'm going to go for a daily. I'm doing a daily put. Why? It should make sense. Because like I'm telling you, those other plays are still holding. Do you get what I'm saying? So that means now they're a little bit up, but pretty much the premiums are all decayed. There's no news. I'm not playing any news. I'm just saying it's breaking, but now that I'm already up a little bit. Hold on. I might have to flip. I already made 30%. Hold on. I'm gonna just sell 2 of them and make that bitch free. Yes, I'm already at 50. Holy fuck. Yeah. All right, I'm out. I got 1 free now. That's it. I literally just bought them at 30, sold out at 60 almost. That's what I was telling you. I'm noticing it. The premiums now, I compared it to my other premium, and that gave the signal. There was literally a gap to take advantage of the premium. So yeah, I snaked it already though. It might last for a little bit, but you could take a smaller risk. I just did that all real time in front of you. But yeah, we got 1 more free daily now. All right. I did not have time to stream alert that one. That was just too quick. Like I'm telling you, I went 50 before anything. My goodness. But yeah, like I'm saying, he's bringing up the nomads for some reason. We had that Putin headline, but that's it. Back to the book. Now, it is worthwhile to pause upon that story because, as we've been suggested, it directly contradicts the impression still current that nomadism is merely a prehistoric thing and a social settlement, a recent thing. So that's why he's going to shoot. That was nothing, yeah. He's trying to shoot down this idea, and he's trying to say Nomads isn't just prehistoric, and this idea of advanced societies together isn't modern. There you go. That makes a little more sense. There is nothing to show that the Babylonians had ever wandered. There's very little to show that the tribes of the desert ever settled down. Indeed, it's probable that this notion of a nomadic stage followed by a static stage has already been abandoned by the sincere and genuine scholars to whose researchers we all owe so much. But I am not at issue in this book with sincere and genuine scholars, but with a vast and vague public opinion which has been prematurely spread from certain imperfect investigations, and which has been made fashionable a false notion of this whole history of humanity. It is the whole vague notion that a monkey evolved into a man, and in the same way a barbarian evolved into a civilized man, and therefore at every stage we have to look back to barbarianism and forward to civilization. Whoa. Holy shit, that just blew my mind. Sounds like a plane's about to crash into my house. Wow. Unfortunately, this notion is in a double sense entirely in the air. It's an atmosphere in which men live rather than a thesis which they defend. Men in that mood are more easily answered by objects than by theories, and it will be well if anyone tempted to make that assumption in some trial trivial of talk or writing can be checked for a moment by shutting his eyes and seeing for an instant, vast and vaguely clouded like a populous precipice, the wonder of the Babylonian wall. Yeah, bro. That right there. That blew my mind right when I read it. It's this whole notion that monkey evolved into a man in the same way a barbarian evolved into a civilized man. Therefore, at every stage, we have to look back to barbarianism and forward to civilization. CELC, big drop. That right there is the banger. That's the problem. Do you see it? We have this false notion or a notion where we assume a lot. Trump planning executive orders that would ease rules that limit weapon exports. All right, LMT, baby. Honestly, LMT will hit, but I honestly think RTX will move more. It popped and came back down, but I honestly think we might get lucky. I'm getting ones with time on those. It already came. Palantir would work too, actually. Yeah. All right. I went with RTX instead. Not a recommendation. You'll lose money. I'm going to go for another one. But honestly, Trump's talking now, though. We already got our free daily. And then now you got weapon executive order. BAH on the high. All right, I think LMT's, I don't know why. That one looked a little better. But yeah, I did RTX. The plays are still just holding. They honestly haven't moved. Newsmax. Oh, I still have that. What the fuck, right? Yeah. Is that halted or no? And then SPY coming down. I don't know the news on the Trump. We just got a free daily, but there was news about weapon exports. Trump is easing rules to allow more weapon exports. But yeah, they stopped kind of moving. Tesla. I like that play. It was weird. Bro, that SPY daily is up 75% now. Actually, I might go in the money on it, I think. Yeah, that'll be beautiful. Okay, RTX starting to move now. Watch those defense plays. I like that. BAH, I hit that one before too. It's kind of weird, but honestly, I think BAH might have less eyes on it. You know what I'm saying? I hate the premiums, though, on BAH. They don't move good. Yeah, we'll just ride the RTX. They're working for a little now, though. Spreads are tightening, so that's good. Adobe scaling back diversity hiring. All right, SPY a little low. Oh, you could go with defend. Yeah, SPY going lower. And again, no news. All we have is Trump executive order on weapons. We got word of it. And then that was it. All right. Yeah, bro. But this idea off the false notion, bro. Think about it. You're either looking back at this weird nature to justify, or you're always getting told to ignore today and look ahead to the future. That's mind-blowing, bro. Do you not get it? Because that's like the whole idea. That's why he's explaining this. Everybody says you were either nomads, prehistoric, and then all of a sudden humans started coming together and doing these societies. He's saying, no, we've always been great, bro. You don't need to look back or always look ahead. You're like, why do I have these feelings? Oh, it's because I'm a barbarian. No. You don't have to, oh, well, let's always look ahead for the future and be like this. No, you're already in the greatest. This weird notion makes you focus on everything but the present. But it says you're down because you need to sell it at that price. It might just be the spread. My RTX is barely moved. SPY's still up 60, bro. All right. Continuing. Oh, man. Every time I start to read, I just see the corner of my eye. I'm watching the low ticker. Yeah, you're going down. Hold on for a second. Because, again, there's no headlines. We're just getting now this crazy volatility. And then you have, I'm expecting to hear a little bit more from Trump. Like I said, rumors on deck. So you already got the LMT and the other ones. LMT's climbing now. RTX not as much. If LMT hits, that'd be great. Oh, dude. Hold on. Yeah, bro. I'm a duh. I got the play. I like this one with all the headlines. Bro, Boeing. I did a Boeing for next week. I was, I guess, a little closer to the money. Not really, but yeah, that's it. I didn't really think about it. Because, again, I think Boeing is going to get a lot more contracts than anything, and then they're kind of part of the defense. I know they don't do weapons, but I think that one rumor might lead to another. And then WTF on the high, SPY chilling there. I kind of want to take that 100%. Or no, now it's down to 50. Yeah, dude. So we'll see. All right. One fact does not certainly fall across us like its shadow. Our glimpses of both these early empires show us that the first domestic relation had been complicated by something which was less human, but was often regarded as equally domestic. The dark giant called slavery had been called up like a genie and was laboring on gigantic works of brick and stone. Here again, we must not too easily assume that what was backward was barbaric. In the matter of manumission, the earlier servitude seems in some ways more liberal than the latter, perhaps more liberal than servitude of the future. To ensure food for humanity by forcing part of it to work, as well as after all a very human expediency, which is why it will probably be tried again. What? But in one sense, there is a significance in the old slavery. It stands for one fundamental fact about all antiquity before Christ, something to be assumed from first to last. It is the insignificance of the individual before the state. It was as true of the most democratic city-state in Hellas as any despotism in Babylon. It is one of the signs of spirit that a whole class of individuals could be insignificant or even invisible. It must be a normal because it was needed for what would now be called social service. Somebody said, the man is nothing and the work is all, meaning for a breezy Carlian commonplace, it was the sinister motto of the heathen servile state. In that sense, there is truth in the traditional vision of vast pillars and pyramids going up and under those everlasting skies forever by the labor of numberless and nameless men, toiling like ants and dying, wiped out by the work of their own hands. So, well, that's the thing. If that sounded weird to you and got offended, then you don't understand it. You know why? He's talking about prehistoric slavery, the OG slavery. This was before no Americans, no Christopher Columbus. We're talking Babylon. We're talking Moses and Egypt. So the OG slavery, but do you see what he's saying? It's kind of crazy if you really think about it. I think it's a wild concept. He wants you to notice something that is indicative of an advanced society, but you also want to see it in another way. That from the beginning of these cultures or not, and slavery is the example, there's always been this idea of sacrificing or people forced into something for a greater good of a nation, economy, whatever it is. I think that's very, very fascinating. Dude, WTF is crazy. What the hell? So, let's see. Hold on. That one wasn't supposed to work, but it's working. All right, I made what the fuck free. So I bought 100 shares at $5.90, and then I just sold out 70 at $8.98. And so I got all my money back, and now I have 20 shares for free. Yeah. Remember, I did it on that other halt. I said, fuck it. It's not going to work, but I did it. I know. And then SPY coming down slowly. And then nothing on those military plays. You hear that? What is that noise? Hey, hold on. I hear something crazy. Please hold. It sounds like someone screaming. Hold on.
Been tracking the Mag 7, which at one point was up about 2%. Now it's just up about just under 1%. All right, coming up, tariffs, economic slowdown, stagflation, a lot coming at investors. We've got the 10 companies to watch, for better or worse. That's next.
Behind the bright lights and adrenaline of pro sport is an equally exciting world of negotiations and deal making.
That's what we cover each week on our podcast, The Deal.
I'm Alex Rodriguez, former baseball player turned business executive.
And I'm Jason Kelly, a journalist at Bloomberg. Over the next couple months, we'll hear from all-stars like Jay Williams.
I want to be an owner one day.
Billie Jean King.
Learn the business.
Paul Rabel.
Don't chase trend.
All right, no. Yeah, I think it was wind. That was weird, bro. All right, man. WTF. We got free shares, so I'm excited with that. It's been a while since I got free IPO shares. I still hear it. All righty. U.S. EPA plans to release 2-year biofuel blending mandate versus 3-year. I still hear it. It's really weird. All right, SPY going lower. WTF crazy. But yeah, he was bringing up this slavery to just this idea from the beginning of time of like serving a bigger, greater good. That's a very, like, no animal does that. You realize that? Not only do no animals don't really enslave, you have like ants and bees, but do you get the point? I don't think dogs are like, okay, I'll go get vaccinated for the greater good. Dogs aren't thinking, think any animal really. Fitch says U.S. housing economy growth to slow with tariff and labor supply risks. But there are two other reasons for beginning with 2 fixed points of Egypt and Babylon. For one thing, they are fixed in traditions as types of antiquity, and history without tradition is dead. Babylon is still the burden of a nursery rhyme, and Egypt, with its enormous population of princesses awaiting reincarnation, is still the topic of an unnecessary number of novels. But a tradition is generally a truth, so long as the tradition is sufficiently popular, even it's almost vulgar. And there is a significance in this Babylonian and Egyptian element in nursery rhymes and novels. Even the newspapers, normally so much behind the times, have already got as far as the reign of Tutankhamun. The first reason is full of common sense of a popular legend. It's the simple fact that we do know more of these traditional things than of every other contemporary things that we always did. All travels from Herodotus to Lord Carnarvon follow this route. Scientific speculations of today do indeed spread out a map of the whole primitive world, with streams of racial immigration and admixture marked in dotted lines everywhere. Over spaces with the unscientific medieval map marker would have been content to call terra incognita, if it did not fill the inviting blank with a picture of a dragon to indicate probable reception given to the pilgrims. But these speculations are only speculations at best, and at the worst, the dotted lines can be more fabulous than the dragon. So again, he's talking tradition. I didn't really get the other part. Holy shit. WTF, another $1. Oh my goodness. Damn. What? SPY's lower. Yeah, it keeps coming down. SPY dailies have moved a lot. And then watch the bonds too. They're kind of reactive. How much did I pay for that one? Yeah, I got that cheap. Okay, bonds are reacting too. I had 100 shares, not 1,000. No. I had 100, and then I have 30 shares for free. So I sold 70 of the 100, got my 593 back plus some, and then, yeah, now I'm just going to hold those 30. All right, you're coming down here a little bit. Hold on. I want to, that one SPY play is doing very well. So I have another idea. No news, man, unfortunately. All right, I bought a daily SPY call to balance it because my put is now about to go in the money and I'm up 100%. So now I bought a call around here. So I lose on both of them. One of them's free. The other one's like $20. Otherwise, if it moves above 560, I make money. And then if it goes below 556, I'm in. Futures are easier. You could, well, that's the thing. You could use my timing in what, like, some of the plays for futures really good, but I have no complaints about options right now. I've only whiffed on just being on the wrong side. Like, I bought NVIDIA, then it just went down on the call side, but I'm liking it. But the timing can, again, today's timing has been unreal on all these plays, so no matter what vehicle you use, it could help you out a little bit. All right, man, you're still going lower, but let's continue. I didn't really get that last paragraph, so we'll keep going. There is unfortunately one fallacy here, which is very easy for men to fall. Even those who are most intelligent and perhaps especially those who are most imaginative. It's the fallacy of supposing that because an idea is greater in the sense of larger, therefore it is greater in the sense of more fundamental and fixed and certain. If a man lives alone in a straw hut in the middle of Tibet, he may be told that he is living in the Chinese Empire. And the Chinese Empire is certainly a splendid and spacious, impressive thing. Or alternatively, he may be told that he is living in the British Empire and be duly impressed. But the curious thing is that in a certain mental state, he could feel much more certain about the Chinese Empire than he cannot see than about the straw hut that he can see. He has some strange magical juggle in his mind by which his argument begins with the empire through his experience begins with the hut. Sometimes he goes mad and appears to be proving that a straw hut cannot exist in the domains of the dragon throne, that it's impossible for such a civilization as he enjoys to contain such a hovel as he inhabits. But his insanity arises from the intellectual slip of supposing that because China is large and all-embracing hypothesis, therefore it's something more than a hypothesis. Now, modern people are perpetually arguing in this way, and they extend it to things much less real and certain than the Chinese Empire. They seem to forget, for instance, that a man is not even certain of the solar system as he is certain of the South Downs. The solar system is a deduction, and doubtless a true deduction, but the point is that it is a very vast and far-reaching deduction, and therefore he forgets that it's a deduction at all and treats it as a principle. Okay, so hopefully this one's a kind of confusing, but that example makes it very clear. Are you understanding it? He's talking about this logical leap, and that's what he's trying to say, like space. If I told you we revolve around the sun and there is 9 planets, you guys would all agree with that, but that is a deduction. We take it by principle, but it's still just a deduction. Yes, exactly. And going and making it bigger than, but that's a big deduction. Exactly, Ivy. It's a great way to word it. He might first discover that the whole calculation is a miscalculation, and the sun and stars and street lamps would look exactly the same. But he has forgotten that it's a calculation and is almost ready to contradict the sun if it does not fit into the solar system. If this is a fallacy, even in this case, of facts pretty well ascertained, such as the solar system and the Chinese Empire, it's even more devastating fallacy in connection with theories and other things that are not really ascertained at all. Thus, history, especially prehistoric history, has a horrible habit of beginning with certain generalizations about races. I will not describe the disorder and misery that this inversion has produced in modern politics, because the race is vaguely supposed to have produced the nation. Men talk as if the nation were something vaguer than the race. Because they have themselves invented a reason to explain a result, they almost deny the result in order to justify the reason. They first treat a Celt as an axiom and then treat an Irishman as an inference. And then they are surprised that a great fighting, roaring Irishman is angry about being treated as an inference. They cannot see that the Irish and Irish, whether or not treated as an inference or as a Celtic, they cannot see that the Irish are Irish, whether or not they are Celtic, whether or not there were ever any Celtics. And what misleads them once more is the size of the theory, the sense that the fancy is bigger than the fact. A great scattered Celtic race is supposed to contain the Irish, so of course the Irish must depend on the very existence upon it. The same confusion, of course, has eliminated the English and the Germans by swamping them in the Teutonic race, and some tried to prove from races being at one nations could not be at war. But I only give these vulgar and hackneyed examples in passing as more familiar examples of the fallacy. The matter at issue here is not application to these modern things, but rather to the most ancient things. But the most remote and unrecorded was the racial problem. The more fixed was this curious inverted certainty in the Victorian man of science. To this day, it gives man, a man of those scientific traditions, the same sort of shock to question these things, which are only the last inferences when he turned them into first principles. He is still more certain that he is an Aryan, even though he is an Anglo-Saxon, just as he is more certain he is an Anglo-Saxon than that he is an Englishman. He has never really discovered that he is a European, but has never doubted that he is an Indo-European. These Victorian theories have shifted a great deal in their shape and scope, but this habit of a rapid hardening of a hypothesis into theory and then a theory into assumption has hardly yet gone out of fashion. People cannot easily get rid of the mental confusion of feeling that foundations of history must surely be secure, that the first steps must be safe, that the biggest generalization must be obvious. But through the contradiction may seem them to a paradox, this is very contrary to the truth. It is the large thing that is secret and invisible. It is the small thing that is evident and enormous. Damn, we're still just chilling here. MO and value selling. Every race on the face of Earth has been the subject of these speculations, and it's impossible to even suggest an outline of the subject. But if we take the European race alone, its history, or rather its prehistory, has undergone many retrospective revolutions in the short period of my own lifetime. It used to be called the Caucasian race. I read a childhood account of its collision with the Mongolian race. It was written by Bret Hart and opened with the query, or is the Caucasian played out? Apparently, Caucasian was played out in very short time. It had been turned into the Indo-European man. Sometimes I regret to say, proudly presented as the Indo-Germanic man. It seems that the Hindu and the German have similar words for mother or father. There were other similarities between Sanskrit and various Western tongues. And with that, all superficial differences between a Hindu and German seem to suddenly disappear. Generally, this composite person was more conveniently described as the Aryan. And the really important point was that he had marched westward out of those highlands of India where fragments of his language could still be found. When I read this as a child, I had the fancy that after all, the Aryans need not have marched westward and left his language behind him. He might have also marched eastward and taken his language with him. If I were to read it now, I should content myself with confessing my ignorance of the matter this whole time. But as a matter of fact, I have great difficulty in reading it now because it's not being written now. It looks as if the Aryan is played out. Anyhow, he has not merely changed his name, but changed his address, his starting place, and his route of travel. One new theory maintains that our race did not come to its present home from the east but the south. Some say the Europeans did not come from Asia but Africa. Some say even have the wild idea that Europeans came from Europe, or rather, they never left it. Oh, I could have got 100%. Damn, bro. That's crazy. Don't retract your message. I'm banning you, Brandon. Sorry. You guys keep doing it today. That one's 100%, but please stop flexing, man. Okay, that's it. Just stop it. Stop it. You should talk about, like, again, I didn't want to make that play, but I told you when I did it. You know what I'm saying? That's all. And I'm not even trying to, I'm just telling y'all the prices, but yeah, terrible. Terrible. I need to create a new punishment for the flexing, because I don't know if the bans are enough. But I should have held that for 100. Yeah, I already unbanned everybody, so you guys are just gonna do that. But hold on real quick. Wait, my girlfriend's calling me. This is weird. Please hold. She knows it's PHILO, so hold on.
To none. And the price points are quite compelling. They just announced a charging device that or charging infrastructure that allows you to get a full charge in 5 minutes.
That's quick.
That's quicker than a gas than pumping gas in your car. It's pretty cool.
Listen, always love going through these lists with you, and love when you guys have an update or a new list. We should point out too, there's a couple of healthcare companies where innovation is the theme, and so we highly recommend everybody check out the complete story and the complete list of companies. You can read it on the Bloomberg and at Bloomberg.com/businessweek. Tim, thank you so much. So appreciate it. Tim Craighead is Bloomberg Intelligence Senior European Strategist, Director of Research Content, joining us from London. Coming up, some other companies we're watching. We're talking about semiconductors. This as the CHIPS Act is in limbo. That's next.
Next on the red carpet, we have Gina Costa, looking simply stunning with this season's hottest accessory. Oh.
Hey, calm down.
She's opening her Fidelity app.
All right. My bad. My girl needs to drop off the dog. I have to take care of him. He got surgery. You know that? She finally got him neutered, and then he had to get his tooth removed because he was a little mutant. So, yeah. I'm going to kick it with him. All right. Yeah, bro. You're just still chilling here at the low, though. Where was it? Yeah, so he's talking about how even... It's funny, he was even criticizing the whole like race thing and how at different times people try to attribute different things to a different race, but the whole point is, what about where you started from? And if you have that incorrect, that's why all these theories keep developing and changing. Then there is a certain amount of evidence of more or less prehistoric pressure from north, such as that which seems to have brought the Greeks to inherit Cretan culture and so often brought the Gauls over the hills into the fields in Italy. But I merely mention this example of European ethnology to point out that the learned have pretty well boxed the compass by this time, and that I, who am not one of the learned, cannot pretend for a moment to decide which doctors disagree. But I can use my own common sense, and sometimes I fancy that theirs is a little rusty from want of use. The first act of common sense is to recognize the difference between a cloud and a mountain. And I will affirm that nobody knows any of these things, in the sense that we all know of the existence of the pyramids of Egypt. The truth, it may be repeated, is that what we really see as distinct from what we may reasonably guess in this earliest phase of history is darkness covering the earth, and the great darkness, the peoples with a light or two gleaming here, and the chances of patches of humanity. And that these flames do burn upon two of these tall primeval towns, upon high terrace of Babylon and the huge pyramids of Nile. There are indeed ancient lights, or lights that may have been conjectured to be very ancient in very remote parts of the vast wilderness of night. Far away to the east, there is high civilizations of vast antiquity in China, There are the remains of civilizations in Mexico and South America and other places, some of them apparently so high in civilization as to have reached the most refined forms of devil worship. But the difference lies in the element of old tradition. The tradition of these lost cultures has been broken off, and though the tradition of China still lives, it's doubtful whether or not we know anything about it. Moreover, a man trying to measure the Chinese antiquity has to use Chinese traditions of measurement, and he has a strange sensation of having passed into another world under another laws of time and space. Time is telescoped outwards, and centuries assume the slow and stiff movement of eons. The white man, trying to see it as yellow, tries to see and feels his heads were turning around and wonders wildly whether or not he is growing a pigtail, and how he cannot take in scientific sense the queer perspective that leads up to the primeval pagoda of the first of the sons of heaven. He is the real antipode, the only true alternative world to Christendom, and he is after walking upside down. Okay, this is getting very, very, very confusing. I might have to read through this and break it down a little bit more because we're getting too deep. I'm over 100%, and now we're dumping back into the lows. Hold on. Bro, it's up. Oh, I can't believe it. I should have held them. My shares are up over 150%. That's crazy. So now my free shares are about to be as big as my first set. Well, that's what I was saying. We got to challenge ourselves. But there's just a lot going on right now. So every time I'm looking over to read, this is like intense. And then I'm like looking over and I'm like, oh, fuck, a new low. And then this. So we got a lot going on here. And then, hold on, I got to open up the door real quick. Give me a sec. Burb. So exciting.
So that would be more of an impact zone for a name like Expedia, whereas Booking Holding is much more Europe-focused. 40 to 50% of their bookings come from EMEA region, and they have lesser airfare exposure. It's only about 15% of their bookings per our estimation, whereas Expedia is more like 25% from airfare. So there's certainly some geo mix and product mix considerations here, and we do favor Booking over Expedia.
Trevor, what's going on with the airlines? I mean, they had this monster 2024. United Airlines doubled. Now it's down whatever 30% in 2025. These are not airline-like moves.
Yeah, so I'm not the airline analyst, so I'll shy away from answering, specific to those names. But
how about
again,
this? What's going on with travel stocks? How about that, Chris?
Sure.
Because I could have thrown cruise lines in there as well.
Yeah. So look, last year, particularly in the back half of the year, we saw surprising resilience in travel demand after what we would consider kind of a growth scare in that July-August timeframe. And that just proved short-lived. And we could be going through a similar kind of growth scare right now. It's too early to make that call. It's something we're very cognizant of. But this is pro-cyclical industry. This is consumer discretionary spend. And in tougher times, this is where consumer pulls back.
All right. Trevor, thanks. Appreciate you joining us today.
Great. Thank you.
Trevor Young of Barclays.
All right. On deck. More on the markets and your money.
On deck. All right. Okay. We're chilling. Chilling. Where was I? He is the real antipode. I've spoken of the medieval map maker and his dragon, but what medieval traveler, however much interested in monsters, would expect to find a country where a dragon is a benevolent and amiable thing. Of the more serious side of Chinese tradition, something will be said of another connection, but I'm only talking tradition in the test of antiquity. And I only mention China as antiquity that is not for us reached by a bridge of old tradition, and Babylon and Egypt as antiquities that are. Herodotus is a human being, in a sense in which a Chinese man sitting in a hat on the opposite of London is hardly just a human figure. What? Hold on, I'm misreading that. Herodotus is a human in the sense in which Chinaman in a hat sitting opposite to us in a London tea shop is hardly human. We feel as if we knew what David and Isaiah felt like in a way which we never quite certain what Li Hu Chang felt like. The very sins that snatched away Helen or Bathsheba have passed into a proverb of private human weakness, of pathos, and even of a pardon. The very virtues of China have about them something terrifying. This is the difference made by the destruction or preservation of a continuous historical inheritance, as from ancient Egypt to modern Europe. But when we ask what was the world that we inherit and why those particular people and places seem to belong to it, we are led to the central fact of a civilized history. That center was the Mediterranean, which was not so much a piece of water as it was the world. But it was a world where something of the character of such a water, for it became more and more a place of unification in which the streams of strange and very diverse cultures met. The Nile and the Tiber alike flow into the Mediterranean. So did Egyptian and Etrurian alike contribute to a Mediterranean civilization. The glamour of the great sea spread indeed very far in the land, and the unity was felt among Arabs alone in the desert and the Gauls beyond the northern hills. But the gradual building up of a common culture running around all coasts of the inner sea is the main business of antiquity. As will be seen, it was sometimes a bad business as well as a good business. In that orbis terrarium of circle of lands, which were extremes of evil and piety, there were contrasted races and still more contrasted religions. Oh, where'd it go? It was the scene of an endless struggle between Asia and Europe, from the night of the Persian ships at the Salamis to the flight of the Turkish ships at Lepanto. It was the scene, as will be more especially suggested later, of supreme spiritual struggle between the two types of paganism, confronting each other in the Latin and Phoenician cities, in the Roman Forum, in the Punic Mart. It was the world of war and peace, the world of good and evil, the world of all that matters most. With all respect to the Aztecs and the Mongols of the Far East, they did not matter as the Mediterranean tradition mattered and still matters. Between it and the Far East that there were, of course, interesting cults and conquests of various kinds, more or less touched within it, and in proportion as they were so intelligible also to us. The Persians came riding in to make an end of Babylon, and were told in a Greek story how these barbarians learned to draw the bow and tell the truth. Alexander the Great Greek, marched with the Macedonians into the sunrise and brought back strange birds colored like the sunset clouds and strange flowers and jewels from the gardens and treasuries of nameless kings. Islam went eastward into the world and made it partially unimaginable to us, precisely because it was born in that circle of lands that fringed on our own ancient land and ancestral scene. In the Middle Ages, the empire of the Mongols increased its majesty without losing its mystery. The Tatars conquered China, and the Chinese apparently took very little notice of them. All these things are interesting in themselves, but it's impossible to shift the center of gravity to the inland spaces of Asia from the inland sea of Europe. When all is said, if there were nothing in the world but what was said and done and written and built in the lands lying around the Mediterranean, it would still be, in all the most vital and valuable things, the world in which we live. When that southern culture spreads to the northwest, it produced many very wonderful things, of which doubtless we ourselves are the most wonderful. When it spread thus to the colonies and new countries, it was still the same culture so long it was culture at all. But round that little sea like a lake, there were things themselves apart from all extensions and echoes and commentaries of things. The Republic and the Church, the Bible and the heroic epics, Islam and Israel, and the memories of the lost empires. Aristotle and the measure of all things. It's because the first light upon this world is really light. The daylight in which we are all still walking to this day, and not merely the doubtful visitation of strange stars that I have begun here, and noting where that light first falls in towered cities of the eastern Mediterranean. So I hope you're getting it at this point. He's saying this Mediterranean Sea, even the Babylonians in Egypt, good, bad, they had competing ideas. But at the Mediterranean, this is where society flourished. And you'll notice the society we have today resembles a lot of that old ancient Mediterranean society. You could go look at other places, but he's saying that is where society had its makings, because you still see a lot of that evidence today. But though Babylon and Egypt have thus a sort of first claim in the very fact of being familiar and traditional, fascinating riddles to us also are fascinating riddles to our fathers. We must not imagine that they were the only old civilizations on the southern sea, or that all civilization was merely Sumerian or Semitic or Coptic, still less merely Asiatic or African. Real research is more and more exalting the ancient civilization of Europe, and especially of what we still vaguely call the Greeks. It must be understood in the sense that, hold on, XBI, you're a little bit lower, WTF is insane. Maybe understood in a sense there were Greeks before the Greeks, as in, so there are mythologies that there were gods before gods. The island of Crete was the center of civilization, now called Minoan, after the Minnows who lingered the ancient legend and whose labyrinth was actually discovered by modern archaeology. This elaborate European society, with its harbors and drainage and domestic machinery, seems to have gone down before some invasion of its northern neighbors, who made or inherited the Hellas that we know in history. But that earlier period did not pass till it had been given the world gift so great that the world has ever been so striving in vain to repay them, if only by plagiarism. Somewhere along the Ionian coast opposite of Crete in the islands was a town of some sort, probably the sort we would have called a village or hamlet with a wall. It was called Ilion, but it came to be called Troy, and the name will never perish from the earth. A poet may have been a beggar and a ballad monger who may have been unable to read and write and was described by tradition as blind, composed poem of the Greeks going to war in this town to recover the most beautiful woman in the world. That this most beautiful woman in the world lived in that one little town sounded like a legend. That most beautiful poem in the world was written by somebody who knew of nothing larger than such little towns is a historical fact. It is said that the poem came at the end of the period that primitive culture brought forth its decay, in which case one would have liked to see that culture in its prime. But anyhow, it's true that this which is our first poem might very well be our last poem too. It might well be the last word as well as the first word spoken by man about his mortal lot and seen merely as a mortal vision. If the world becomes pagan and perishes, the last man alive would do well to quote the Iliad and die. Okay, SPY going lower, LABD, that's biotex. Oh, shit. No, bro, that's it. Biotex, I forgot. The reciprocals, we should have played that yesterday. Humana, look. What is it? It's dumb, I'm banning you. Oh, I like it. That's not dumb. We got a little candle. I was like, come on, man. Well, yeah, I like biotex, to be honest. Oh, yeah, I don't know. What happened to RTX and Boeing? Did those go or no? The Boeings came down. RTX came down too. But, okay, we're almost done. In this one great human revelation of antiquity, there's another element of great historical importance, which has hardly, I think, given its proper place in history. The poet has so conceived the poem that his sympathies apparently, and those of his reader, are certainly on the side of the vanquished rather than the victor. And this sentiment, which increases in poetical tradition even as the poetical origin itself recedes. Achilles had some status as a sort of demigod in pagan times, but he disappears altogether in late times. But Hector grows greater as ages pass, and it's his name, the name of a knight of the Round Table, and his sword that legend puts into the hands of Roland, laying about him with the weapon of the defeated Hector in the last ruin and splendor of his own defeat. The name anticipates all the defeats through which our race and religion were to pass. That survival of 100 defeats, that is its triumphs. The tail end of Troy shall have no ending, for it lifted up forever into living echoes immortal as our hopelessness and our hope. Troy standing was a small thing that may have stood nameless for ages, but Troy falling has been caught up in a flame and suspended in an immortal instant of annihilation. And because it was destroyed with fire, the fire shall never be destroyed. And as with the city, so with the hero. Traced in archaic lines in that primeval twilight is found the first figure of the night. There was a prophetic coincidence in his title. We have spoken of the word chivalry and how it seems to mingle in the horseman with the horse. It's almost anticipated ages before the thunder of the Homeric hexameter, and the long leaping word with which the Iliad ends. It is the very unity for which we could find no name but the holy centaur of chivalry. But there are other reasons for giving in the glimpse of antiquity the name upon the sacred town. The sanctity of such towns, oh wait, you went a little lower, of such towns is like a fire round the coast of islands in the northern Mediterranean, the high fenced hamlet of which heroes died. From the smallness of the city came the greatest of the citizen. Hellas with their 100 statues produced nothing stallier than the walking statue, the ideal of the self-commanding man. Hellas, one of the human statues, was one legend and literature of all that labyrinth of little whaled nations resounding with the lament of Troy. A later legend, an afterthought, but not an accident, said that the stragglers from Troy found a republic on an Italian shore. It was true in spirit that republican virtue had such a root, a mystery of honor that was not born of Babylon or the Egyptian pride. They are shown like the shield of Hector, defying Asia and Africa till the light of new day was loosened. With the rushing of eagles and the coming of name, the name came like a thundering when the world woke to Rome. Ah, I get it now, bro. I was like, what is he talking about? So much. But yeah, this was all to leave you in the remembrance of one. But hold on here. I want to hold it, but I'm going to take that last put. I don't want to lose. It's up 50%. Because now that's a killer premium. I'll hold the little call there. But I got 50% on that last put. Did I stream alerted that one, right? Or no? If I didn't, then let me see. Yeah. All right, word. But yeah, that one was really confusing. It got a little bit more challenging there. But I think the whole point was to let you know the origins of society. And make no mistake, this one should make sense to you. You guys are getting involved in business, in trade. You know why I like Richest Man in Babylon and Proverbs? Do you guys not realize that money in business has gone on forever? And that's kind of the image that he described there. He was saying, bro, do you guys not see it? The cities that hang around, the cities around the shore that trade in the harbor, bro, business. And he's saying how people came together and shared language, and even under business and trade, it brought good, bad, evil, devil worship, real gods, fake gods, language. Yeah, bro. But he's saying, if you notice, that's the early symbol of humans. And like what we do of exchange, this is a very human thing, bro. How come the birds don't come together at the watering hole and trade sticks? How come the lion doesn't trade meat with the tiger for dinner? How come the rat, which has a comparative advantage, doesn't trade with those at another advantage? My brother, that is your evidence of society from day one. My brother, you're a special man. Don't ever forget that. And stop making logical leaps. But Chad, we have knocked out 50 pages, bro. We're on chapter 4 now. I'll leave that there. Take that one to the bank. That is your philosophy, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We're live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. Drop your thumbs up on the video. You're on mobile, press hot chat. X out the chat. Hit the thumbs up button. Second link for the nightly watch list and mine channel. First link for the Streamlights boot camp and real estate. Woo! Amen. Amen. All right, man. That's PHILO. Core weave pop. I need a pro, bro. We need Uncle answers. We got time. Oh, it's already 12. I thought we had enough time. I was going to keep it on members only if you guys had any questions, but it's power hour. We'll let them back. I like this. Brownie and then welcome to the war. Long term. It's a cup, baby. Long term, short term, welcome to the war. Canada, Carney, and Mexico Scheinbach discuss importance of building relation between the two countries.
Tell me what's the store. China on the store. Ready on the land. Know you heard this shit before. It was 2018, making videos in the car. Now everybody got a long term, looking for some more. Big bank, I'ma pull up in a Civic. Rollie is a numerals, the Casio and digits. If you never make a move, then you'll never have a critic. Why you think I got these grown men acting like some bitches? $100 move, 10-cent finish. Tell me not to mock it, but you don't know your limit. Both of us could lose, but one of us is winning.
Yeah, pin duo duo.
So tell me how you
it's already coming down. Be careful.
I already know it, though. Don't care about your whip. I got a crib in my portfolio.
Yeah, and Baidu. What the fuck is this?
Fluid in the well, but the
Carney highlights plan fight unjustified trade action.
Put it in the video.
Yeah, all China just took off.
Funny how it's cynical fuss.
I got a pin duo.
Forgive me for the language. I'm still working on the spiritual. Mr. Professional, talk about the revenue. Hard to ride the wave when you riding on my genitals. Talking about my plays, but they hit like an edible. I'm used to little humans telling me what's not attainable. That's some whole shit. Trying to tight roll shit. Friend and the enemy. You think we don't know this? Funny how my foes never had the same focus. Forgive them for their sins. I ain't talking about the smoke. I'm back to the mission, lot of holding, lot of sitting. Act like you can't change your mind before you go and make decisions. You don't even need precision, cause you at it while you stack it.
Yeah, it's weird, bro.
Who the villain?
I got a cheap one on Pinduo Duo, but then they all just came back down right now. It's not moving. You need to follow through.
You gon' ask the current you, but why you didn't? Sick with it, boy. I'm talking big business. I don't need no 3 wishes, just a God vision. I be COD with it. Cindy, I keep flipping. No, I'm all about $1, but I'm all about a mission. Who we kidding? God is always in it. Ain't no way to spin it. If it's yours, you're gonna get it. You could build it in a year, but you could lose it in a second. You could use the tongue for life, or you could use it as a weapon. I already know it. Don't care about your whip. I got a crib on my portfolio.
We're back. I might need to play another one. I'll play the news though. I'm getting my protein in, bro. I'm hungry today.
In either direction?
Please hold.
So you're right in pointing out that it's very hard to know exactly what the directionality is going to be. I've actually stopped having a strong conviction on what's going to happen over the next week or two. But over the longer run, if you look at the remainder of the year, our call is that yields will gradually decline. We actually have 375 penciled in for the 10-year by the
China
end
was
of the
a
year.
dud,
so
bro.
if you are in an
I don't know what
environment
that was.
where there's a lot of uncertainty,
Literally,
and
Baba,
inflation
Baidu,
is going
Pinduo
to tick
Duo,
up
crazy
because
pop,
of
and then
tariffs,
all back down.
Even though it might be somewhat short-term and transitory, ultimately you're going to see the Fed keeping policy on hold till they have clarity on inflation. And that would translate perhaps into lower growth and lower long-end yields. So we're thinking lower 10-year yields and flatter 2-cents part of the yield curve.
How much clarity do you think
that's crazy.
the market might get tomorrow?
So yeah, those already came back down. That's going to be a dud.
That's a very good question, and I think it's really hard to know because I would say that the market's very divided between, some of the participants thinking this is an opening salvo for a negotiated deal, and that, we might not, the bark might be louder than the bite. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have investors who are concerned about 20% tariffs across the board in all the countries, and perhaps retaliatory measures that could be forthcoming from our trading partners. So that's really where I think the divide in the market is, and you're seeing the stasis in the market because there's really no clarity on what could potentially happen even after tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll get some clarity on what the Trump administration is going to do, but really a lot depends on how our trading partners respond to the tariffs.
So when you take a look then at the 10-year yield and your call for it moving lower, I'm struck between the safe haven demand for treasuries, but then also the inflation premium that needs to be baked in. How do you square those two?
So if you look at inflation expectations, I'd say for the most part, the market is thinking that it's going to be sort of a short-term rise in inflation. So you're seeing 2-year break-evens, for instance, start to price in higher inflation expectations. But 10-year break-evens, for the most part, or longer-dated inflation expectations have remained, at least market-based measures of inflation have remained relatively contained. Where you're seeing that concern being borne out is in the survey-based measures of inflation. You look at the Michigan survey, 5 to 10-year
Mexico and Canada are on a phone call right now.
You know, the highest they've
That's
been
coming
in a
across the
couple
wire.
of decades.
That's weird.
So
We're
for the
going
most
up,
part,
but
I think that inflation
you would think
could
that
be somewhat,
other guys talking would be,
say
but yeah, look at the currencies. They're both reacting.
See some inflation.
Now you're back above
rise,
5,600.
Over the longer run, the market's not really looking at higher inflation expectations.
Which then begs the question: if we wind up having, say, a 10-year that has a range but anchored, is the action really in the 2-year as we weigh, say, inflation versus growth?
Yeah, I think the front end is going to be pegged to policy. 2-year break-evens have risen quite meaningfully. But what we're going to really need to see is the potential feed-through to get a better sense of how long inflation is going to be persistent. But really, what I'm really focused on for the long end is the impact on growth. The longer the Fed keeps policy on hold, the higher inflation remains sticky. I think you're going to see that translate into lower growth, and that's really the concern that the market is starting to price in is if we could potentially see a recession. We're not seeing that in the hard data. The hard data has been relatively strong. It's really the sentiment indicators that are starting to really show a souring of sentiment, if you will.
Well, then that brings us back, I think, kind of to the original question that Alex posed at the start of the show, which is how much safety, if you will, do U.S. Treasuries, U.S. fixed income overall, offer at this point?
So I think that the treasuries or treasury market is going to be the safe haven asset.
Okay. Three-way. I didn't think it's a three-way call. That'd be crazy. You guys remember when three-way calling was like an invention? I remember when that shit first dropped. We were like, whoa, somebody could join your call? That's so hype. Yeah, RTX. We have a play on those. Those have came up. All of those did, actually. The Boeing and RTX have popped. Again, there was executive order stuff. I like the SPY here. That other call, what time is it? We only have like an hour. I'm going to call that. That one's a daily, so I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to take the last SPY call, 60%. Bro, today was just hitters, bro. Oh, that's beautiful. So I'm glad I'm out of that. So no more SPY place. I was out of them earlier, then we just did them again. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So now I still have those other plays that we just made, the Boeing and RTX, and then Pinduo Duo, but that one's a dud. I think that might be our dud of the day, unless it wants to come back up. Yeah, you remember the three-way calling, bro? That was crazy. Or do you know what I really remember? I'm not going to lie. I would do this. People would call the house. Like, you remember, like, if you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to call the house. You know, I did that. I had a crush on a girl, and I would call her house, and I would have to talk to her dad and be like, hey, what was her name? Oh, damn, she wasn't that important, I guess. I forgot her name. I was like, what's her name home? And then, yeah, I talked to her on the phone. That's how we'd have to do it back in the day. But then, like, I remember my brother and sisters, if they would get phone calls, you would try to pick up the phone silently. And if they didn't hear the click, you could listen in on the phone call. That was the landline. Y'all, that's what you used to do back in the day, bro. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Crazy. It's came a long way. Been a long time. All right. Core weave. Oh. Well, actually, where are the bonds? I don't know. We have a TLT that just went green. Oh, wow. I want to hold it, but no, I like that setup. It's honestly very good because usually after you break, If you actually go up like this, this is actually looking very good. Because that usually doesn't happen. Oh, in 2023. Then Core Weave is still moving. Yeah, that's killing it. It looks nice, but I'm kind of scared of it. So I'm saying, I don't know. I kind of want to take my little profit and then reposition, but then I'll be underexposed on options coming into tomorrow. $100. That's not for TLT. That's like when you look at a bond, like the rate cut odds or anything like basis points. If you see it's at like 9.5 or something, it's 100 minus that, and then that equals the yield. But TLT is different. Pecom on the hot. U.S. labor watchdog halts Apple case after Donald Trump picks group lawyer for top job. Oh. Reports Meta's first glasses with display have hand controls. Watch Apple working on second-gen glasses with dual screens. So Meta is now adding screens to the Meta glasses. So you know the ones that I have, the ones I like, they want to add hand movements and screens. They're going to try to turn that to an Apple Vision. Oh, I might want to double dip the Baba. Because, again, China is either going to get clapped or get hooked up tomorrow if the tariffs are lower or higher than expected. Well, they said something about Apple Vision today. Apple did, but, yeah. I think if Meta could do it in a way that doesn't make them look odd. Because I love the Meta glasses. I love them right now. They record great. They're normal glasses. Like, it doesn't feel weird. You could listen to, like, I love them. But I don't know how it'd be if there was, like, a screen. As long as it doesn't change the current news. Because they're already kind of big and clunky. Core Weave, bro, that was a banger. Those plays are up 200-300%. I bought them for $1 and change, and they're going for, like, $4. That's crazy. There was a lot today. So good. And then a lot of Chads posted that one too. Oh, I still have that play. That one's not, I don't know if that one's going to go. The GE Habibi. Yeah. You got 2 Core Weave. You bought one, made it free. Nice. You didn't post the play. I'm really proud. I'm really proud. So I'm so proud. You could see it in the chat. That's how proud I am. Good work. The 3D glasses without the lens. I don't recall that one. Trump is going to be at 4 tomorrow. So at the bell. No, I don't know, man. It's weird. Apple's kind of odd. Even the other one, you got to think about it. Meta intends to introduce first glasses with screen end of the year for $1,000. That's coming out now. Wait, what? Ryan, you better not be lying, Ryan. I'm checking now. Nope, I'm banning you, Ryan. Sorry. Nah, he's lying to you. Like I can't check in a couple of seconds. That's an April Fool's joke? Oh, that's cool. You're banned. Don't play with me, baby. We've hit every play off of info. So, I don't know. Sucks to suck. Oh, maybe I should have held that daily. You're going up 45 minutes. You're back at VWAP, baby. Core Weave, RBC on the high, too. All right, man. Well, you still got a decent amount of time. A lot of plays are melting away, but everything's still red except the NASDAQ. Isn't that crazy? What a day. Other SPY plays back to the same price, low key, though. So I'm not too mad. It was a good one. RTX, yeah. Again, all of those. We're going to get that executive order. We'll see the follow through. And then Core Weave, bro. It's insane. And then WTF is still up too. But, yeah, what a day. What a day. You ever deal with a lot of 20 to 25-year-olds? Anything about pre-COVID college students? Yeah, I deal with a lot of young people, but I think it's the same. I mean, times change and all that, and like you got different cultural things, but I always meet the young generation. I always meet people, and I'm like, holy crap, you guys scare me. I'm so worried. And then I'll meet some young people, and then I'm like, man, these mother effers are I'm so excited for them. So some impress me, and some I'm scared for their impact on society, but it's always been like that. I don't really think there's too big of a difference. Yeah, that one's older. Man, what a day. I'm selling. Well, good luck. Good luck. I might have to trim some of mine. Then SPY hit VWAP and then came down again. Core Weave. Bro, 30% today. This was the IPO move, damn it. That is nuts. Yalla. News done. Oh, yeah, dude. This is all about tomorrow now. So that's it. Tonight you're going to hear a little bit more, but thankfully it won't matter. Even tomorrow is going to be weird because you have to wait all the way till the end of the day. That's something I don't think people are ready for. So you're going to have rumors all day tomorrow, and then you won't even know till the market is done. So think about that with any of your plays. All right, man. Well, SPY VWAP, you got about 40 minutes remaining. Core Weave, that's good. I'm glad we called that out. Like I told you, the Newsmax breaking above IPO, they turned the flow. This wasn't really criteria, so it was just a little different. But any IPO, when they break, that's it. But Core Weave, look at that chart, bro. That's insane. That's it. That was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. I'm glad. Again, we talked about that a lot in the morning. Go watch the recap. I wouldn't shut up about it. So I'm glad that hit. If it turns into 1,000, well, at least make some free and then ride it, but do not hold that naturally trying to hope for 1,000. But now it's free. We could do whatever you want, and that's the good part about it. All of them, Newsmax and the other IPO, they're just neck and neck right now. I mean, Newsmax up over 2,000%. That one's going to have its wicked crash and burn, but I think Core Weave's a little bit more natural IPO. That's why I'm liking that one a lot better. We didn't even play the other one. I played WTF, so it was during PHILO. I made it free. I got 30 free shares of that. So if you were live, you saw it. Company can't option their shares. there's lockup agreements where you can't sell for like 30 days, but as far as like options, that's like CoreWeave got options today. That's just dependent on like the market maker and how liquid a stock is. WTF. What the makes no sense. Oh, where is Tessie? Remember I wanted that? Those puts, I don't know if they would have hit. I don't think they would have. IPO. Well, be careful. IPOs in long term aren't usually going to be your friends. So be careful. But for now, it works. Danny here on the low. TMO. Oh, dude, IBB. I forgot. Dude, the India stuff is going to whack them tomorrow, but now we already missed it. That's what sucks. Yeah, you already got all the latest headlines, the Apple, the Meta glasses. See, man, now we're chilling. Hut, Bitcoin. Yeah, WTF just hit $15. So, or 16. I think it's about to get halted. Yeah, Walton Financial. Pause due to volatility. Yeah, crypto miners. Remember, crypto is doing good. Is gold still down? You guys remember that earlier? Gold recovered a little bit, but still got clobbered. APP, SPY at VWAP, CoreWeave, $50 will be big. If it breaks through 50 and doesn't sell off here, it'll go to like 55, maybe even 57. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what IPOs do. So $50 is a big level is what I'm trying to say. I may be wrong on the prices, but we'll see where that one leads there. But that doesn't mean gamble. I'm already in my play, and I'm just holding. VIX is break even. Damn. What a fucking waste for today. No way it's break even. Aye. Canada, Carney, they're still talking. I know you guys got the play, but don't flex the play. If you have the stream alerts, you literally have a $100 to $500 on your stream alert. Don't go in the chat and flexing it on them. You guys know what I'm saying, but y'all did terrible on flexing today. So, again, all my plays, I've posted them to the stream alerts, or I'm literally telling you what I am doing at that moment, but terrible. Terrible. This was probably one of the worst days of flex offending in the last 24 hours, but, you know, good first day back of ban liberation, but we had to add a couple people to the list. So maybe I'll see you next quarter, maybe I won't, but for now, try not to flex. There's no penalty for buying and selling stocks in the same day. I mean, eventually you'll get a wash sale, probably, so talk with your tax professional. You're at VWAP. No, I only did one straddle today. Everything, I just was hitting. I don't know. Today worked. Today worked out very well. Oh, that one's because the spread. Post the losses too. Honestly, I just think at this point, those who post plays and like do it already, you should keep doing it. But I think just don't post anything at all. Call it a day. That's it. And just stop pumping shit and stop flexing and stop bringing in a third wall of something else you have to deal with when it's all said and done. And focus on a job well done, do good, get a long term, and call it a day. Trump about to start closed press event. Interesting. CV, look again, it didn't. 50 is going to be a big level for the IPO. Costco for AC. Yeah, I mean, unless you could find a local person, but I can't lie. Costco for a lot of home shit is great. So, yeah, and then they got decent people, like, at least if they don't do a good job, they got some set of warranties on it. Bro, Costco does flooring now. Did you guys know that? Bro, it's at $17. Holy shit. Well, that's a second IPO in 2 days that's done some crazy shit like this. What the fuck? At like WTF at 17. SEC charges 3 Arizona individuals with defrauding investors in $280 million muni bond offering that financed sports complex. IPOs are back. Oh, well, no. Don't get ahead of yourself. These aren't good. Like, you know what I'm saying? All these IPOs are terrible. They're just moving up in price. Make no mistake. These are not good IPOs. I don't think this indicates that. I think this is an illusion. That's why if we make money, great. But this isn't like IPO season at all. You don't have people optimistic. You don't have money going around. No, CoreWeave is still terrible. CoreWeave, they didn't even sell it on the first day. This thing's like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, all of these, just because the price is going up, I think a lot of people are making the mistake to believe that this means anything. I like the fact I made 400% on CoreWeave, but I'm not. This was a bad IPO. They couldn't even sell it on day one. You know what I'm saying? The Newsmax, they couldn't sell it. They started controlling supply. Same thing with this WTF. So it'll go while there's hype and while they're whatever they're doing to engineer the supply. But I'm not I'm not tripping on that. I don't know if it's the crackheads or if it's the market makers like scamming. That's what I'm just saying. All I know though is that these aren't good IPOs. The prices are up, but I wouldn't call this an overall win around for everybody. I don't think this is high demand. I don't think these are creating a market where people are like, yeah, let's go. And people see these results, but some of them are kind of a little way too detached from reality. It's a fishing net. Wow. Meta News hitting the wire everywhere now. The smart glide, it didn't really move. All right, getting your little pull. You're closing VWAP. That's it. You're going to close a little bit above, and then I didn't think about it, bro. All day tomorrow. We're only going to hear more rumors tomorrow, too. So 12:30 on the dot. See what ends up happening here. The last 300% IPO? Oh, I have no idea. That's what I'm saying. IPOs. When was the last good IPO? Just a good company still around that hasn't given back? I can't remember. you got your thing. I don't know. I'm assuming you're younger than me. So if I called you kid, no worries. But yeah, I don't know. What were those messages you DM me on Instagram? Like, you want me to find, like, here, if you could answer this for me. Reddit? You guys are calling that out. Oh, Reddit. Yeah. I was like, wait, oh, no, you guys are answering my question. No, I want to know because, like, bro, do you know how many weird-ass messages I get? And then y'all, like, and then, yeah, here it is. See, it shows up. What did you say to me? Yeah, you commented on the story of the car that I bought my mom, and you said, you know I'm someone's son as well. I don't deserve to die. And then, like, what does that mean? And then you were like, I don't care what you think you know. I never know where the hell you stand with all this litigation bullshit, but it's annoying. I'm just trying to better myself and have freedom. Like, what does that mean? What litigation? What? Like, do you see? That's why I said today, bro, when you're, like, commenting, I don't know if you're trying to, like, mind fuck me, or I don't know if you're trying to get a portfolio, but that's why I told you, stop gambling. Let's get you a long-term. You know what I'm saying? So I think that will answer all your DMs. No. Or tell me what that means now. I'm asking you, but I have no idea. And again, I have thousands of different interactions, but I remember that one, and I kept seeing your name, and that's why I was like, what are you saying to me? That's why I'm like, let's go, man. Let's get you a long term. I would love to help you out, but I don't know. I'm not following. I'm sure he meant something. I don't know why y'all ripping him apart. I'm not asking that to be mean. I hope you guys could be a little nicer, because I'm genuinely, like, trying to figure out what that meant. Like I'm saying, I don't DM people. I'd rather just talk to you if you're here, as I always do. House for sale? You could email me and then talk to him and try to get in an offer. Damn, you guys know that spy play I sold for 60? Yeah, that shit's up 200% now. Fuck. So another hitter I just sold too early. Spot going. What a day, bro. But tomorrow's going to be weird. We have to spend all day waiting for everything to come in. So good luck with it. Is Bob? I need those pin duos, man. That was the only one that didn't really hit. That was like a straight fluke. I do long-term investing classes. If you show up every day here, you'll get it. But I might make a course at this point. I might make a course and then include everything I have for free, because people will just pay more attention if you charge them. That's what I've noticed, sadly. So I wouldn't really sell anything new, and then you guys can, like, go get it for free if you have that drive, and then if people want to buy shit, I'll sell it to them. But it'll just be, like, me doing the work for them that's already there. It's, crazy logic. But I need to go pee now, guys. I love you, and God bless America. Thank you to the veterans. BRB.
Capacity in our system, and here domestically in the U.S., aid to increase capacity, output, of finished vehicles, and more importantly, is there enough warehousing and financing to stockpile some of those parts?
Yeah, I think the capacity, we have some capacity, but I think the big issue is it just takes long, right, to build these plants, to move production from, if it's from another country to the U.S. I live here in Georgia, and we have the Hyundai Kia mega plant that just had a huge announcement this past week. And it took them like 2 or 3 years, right, to still get up and running. And so it's going to take time. So these OEMs can't pivot that quickly. Mm-hmm. So I think in the short term, that's why we're going to see lower production, and it's going to impact prices and overall the new sales that we see in the marketplace. We're actually forecasting around 6.3 million in 2025, and now we're adjusting that to about 15.8 million because of the potential impact on sales volume.
That's a significant drop. And I am curious, Stephanie, when you look at what's already out there, and meaning the inventory that we have on the lots, or at least here in the United States right now, I mean, how long would that inventory last? If hypothetically we didn't import anything for however many weeks or months, how long does that last?
That's a great question. And I think it's going to be dependent on the OEM. If you think of somebody, an OEM like Toyota, they have, fewer days supply than like a Porsche, BMW, GM. And so I think it's going to hit the OEMs differently. And you're right, once that supply runs out, then those new cars that are imported are going to have that tariff, and it's going to be, big increase for consumers wanting to buy that vehicle. And I think it's going to take time for them to adjust and build up production. And I think when you asked about the parts, I think when I think about EVs, it's even more significant if you think about the battery. China.
Why is there this assumption that you have to buy things for more money? Especially like a car. You guys want to do this with me? I'm going to start like a movement. Do you guys, we should make like a fucking petition, or let's just do like a protest, and I'm going to do it. Let's just go on strike. I vowed to not buy a car if they charge me more than what it cost. Is anybody with me? I'm going to say no to higher prices if it's not food. You guys realize that, right? Unless it is food or gas because you need it, why don't we all just come together and say no? Seriously. But we need everybody to do it, where everybody's like, you know what? Let's hold off for better. Let's negotiate. That's it. I'm not, because this logic that, what do you mean? You're going to sell the cars for cheap now, and then you're going to raise the price on all the new ones that come in, and then we're supposed to just waltz in there, and then you want me to blame Donald Trump for your market adjustment? No, fuck that. I'm just not going to buy anything. How about that? And that, I don't know why this doesn't get talked about a lot. Everybody on Wall Street to the corporations, and I don't know why even in society, they're ignoring price rejection. And again, supply, demand. Again, what Econ 101, what happens when the price is up? What happens to demand? And that's why I'm like, why is everyone assuming that it's going to be the same demand? I'm very, very confused. It doesn't make any sense. So that's a very, very wild one. And do I report those people? No. I don't think that message was scary. I mean, you guys got to realize I jumped towards, I assumed he wanted help. And I'm here to help with the long term. That's it. All these other side comments, it doesn't make sense. And then just sadly, if you guys ever wonder why my attitude with it and why it's just easier to ignore a lot of things and ban and move on, is simply because I get thousands of those over the years. So it's like, bro, it's very normal to me. That's not scary. I literally had somebody show up to my crib a couple of weeks ago at my rental house because they thought I lived there, and they waited outside. It's okay. At this point, I'm living life, bro. I love it. I hide in my corner, and when I do go out, nobody knows who I am, and I live such a normal life, bro. And we have helped thousands of people get a long-term, and a lot of people get homes, and we're going to keep doing that. So everything else is just normal at this point. Long-term. They need us to consume. Not consuming is in the calculations. Amen. All right. No, that's very weird. The whole demand thing, I don't get it. I get it, but I'm just like, all right, let's see. I think it's going to be really interesting. Long term. You just said you needed to smoke a fat L, bro. Who you talking to? I saw that one. Are we moving back to general? No. Why? Well, right now it's public. Anybody could listen. I haven't stopped that. But we're going to stay members only for the next quarter. And then we'll see. I mean, that's it. Because we'll see how people act. Let's see what you do with it. If I see people in June, let's see how many long terms there are. Let's see how many hate mail we get and how crazy it is. And let's see how good everybody else in here does and how focused we get. But for now, I like it. I mean, last 3 months, it's been sad. And I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. But those of you who got hurt and were very violent about it, I mean, it just, all you proved to me is that our relationship is not worth more than $5. Not because you wouldn't buy it, but because you would literally type me out a fucking hate mail over not being able to chat. Very sad. But the other people have done very well. So, like I'm saying, we'll see where that leads us. And we did good in members only. So, until that changes, I mean, I think we'll give the ball to them. And that's it. Until members only fucks it up, then, I mean, I think they've been running very well with it. Or psycho till I got a long term. Calm down. It's nice. I know, man. It's good. It's good. And that's the best. And now you see what I've been saying this whole time. Amen. I did not see your email. What you could tell me now? And then Mass could skip a quarter pounder. Well, listen, I don't want you to spend anything if you don't want to or you don't have it. But again, to go and attack or harass me because you don't like what I did, if you don't understand, you're the reason. That entitlement is not what I like, and I can't believe some people would actually do that, but it's their life, and I'm glad for them doing that, because it's a lot better when we have a focus for the right area and we're just right to the mission like we've done this quarter. So now we got to do it again. Amen. Long term for your 2-year-old and baby? Oh, yeah. I'd make a Schwaber Fidelity. You'll be fine. Dude, that other play, though, that I should have held that last call. That killed it. It was crazy. I was against the 5 at first, but I'm the reason you don't sound ignorant when people in your life start talking about the economy. Wow. I like that a lot. And that's what I'm saying, man. Even without it, you know, you're not going to get the PHILO, but you could still get the other 6 hours. But I wasn't really looking for anybody to do anything. But like I said, some of the reactions kind of highlighted another unknown. But I'm grateful. And now we still got a lot more work to do. So I hope you listen and make the most of it too. Because somebody was like, man, it's really hard and this is hard. I want to take a moment. And I feel you. Trading, I'm telling you, it's only going to get more difficult here. But I must let you know. Give your guys' self a fair shot at trading. And what I mean is, like, stop doing, like, dumb shit and coming to class unprepared and then blaming the stock market and then saying, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Does that make sense? If you use 10% of your long term, 10% of that 10%, and don't go above that to gamble, there's no way you could blow up. Right? You're going to come in to trade, bro. This is what I'm saying. Like, something like the Watchlist. Do I want you to watch it? Yes. But at the end of the day, what the fuck are you doing trying to come and move your money around and you're not preparing both past and the future before you're making a move? You know what I'm saying? How are you coming into the trading world and you don't know what's happening in the day? You're not preparing and studying and being up to date. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I tell you to watch the watch list. That's why I'm saying where a lot of these avoidable problems, if a little bit of preparation, a little bit of time ahead of the trade might be better than spending your whole entire day trying to trade. Does that make sense? So for real, this is the advice I'm trying to give you. Even if the trading seems difficult, prepare a little bit more. Trust me. Some people, I don't think it's a skill issue with trading. I don't think you are cursed. I don't think you're bad luck. But I do think you are lazy. And what do I mean by that? You are not preparing before you show up to work. Yes or no? I'm a big fan of wing it. But you got to prepare a little bit. That's why I'm saying do not let... There are some things that you should have a minimum basis of and understand ahead of each week before you're doing anything. If you're trying to gamble short terms, dailies, whatever. Because that's what I'm saying. A lot like UVXY and all of these trades in advance, some of these you could just see it. And if you prepared a little more and if you were just a little ahead on that sense and you're looking at that and responding to what you know, I think you're going to be a lot better than randomly just going wherever the news or hype takes you. Whoa, Visa, American Express bidding to win Apple credit card. AXP Visa on the wire. It's actually not even going that crazy. So look, you guys have the wire up, right? Visa, American Express bidding to win Apple credit card network, sources say. But literally Visa, AXP not moving at all. So see, you might get a reaction. That zero move, bro. That's crazy. Usually anything flashing in red is massive. I'm kind of shocked. You could still try to make a play if you think it's there. The premiums are still down on AXP. I'll leave that one for you guys. No, Goldman, remember they dropped them. They dropped Goldman last time. Goldman already did it and then backed out. Honestly, you may be just so early with that play. Because literally, look, it's starting to react a little bit. Again, we have that early. I already see. No, it's already showing up on Twitter. You've never seen the wire red? It happens every now and then. It's only for like certain ones it's coded. Because they could put, like, when they send it to the wire, they could attach, like, kind of if it's breaking news. So it's meant to show up breaking news like that. Yeah, now it's hitting my other wire. Takeover credit card from MasterCard. See if MasterCard sold off. Nah, man, they went up a little. Yeah, it'll be an event. J&J, I'm glad we got rid of that play the other day. Literally yesterday. GSK, watch out for that. That's medicine. That could be ugly. T-Mobile email about real estate in Massachusetts and showing you houses. Let's get it, man. I'll take a look at that after the bell. Core weave. I can't. It hit 50 and can't. It needs to go. Watch. If it breaks above 50, it's probably just going to go straight to 52. Again, I've seen a lot of IPOs. I don't know. We'll see, but 50 is a very, very big level. That's why I think it has a lot of pressure there. The contracts are even higher. Contracts are at $5. I'm so mad. I had a lot of them. Ah! JB Hunt. AXP pop. Hey, you got it early, baby. You got it early. It's not really too much. Watch MA. I put Apple instead of TLT because there was a lot of news. All right, man. Get ready. I was going to say finalize some plays, but realistically, we're going to move off whatever the rumor is tomorrow morning. And then it's just like, that's it. You're not going to get the announcement till the end of the day. That's the crazy part. But yeah, there's your 10-minute rigged. Get ready. Finalize and bring it home, my brethren. And yeah, dude, so don't send me emails. I just feel bad. But I unbanned everybody. I mean, if you got banned today, you're banned now at least, I would assume, forever. But if you are not showing up, that is YouTube's fault. Because I have zero. This is what I took in the morning. I unbanned everybody. I refreshed it. I screenshotted it. There is not one hidden member on my channel. So if you're not showing up, that is all YouTube. You could contact them, but I am not. I've done my part. Question about purchasing a home. Well, I mean, is it a question that we've discussed before? Otherwise, what you could do is email me where you are at, what state, whether or not you have a pre-approval, and then I could just connect you with Colt Real Estate if it's something that we have discussed in depth. Otherwise, if it's a house you're in escrow on or something, I'll look at it and let you know my valuation, but email will probably be there, and then I'm not looking at them for the rest of the day, though, or until I leave the stock market. Yum, what up, baby? Yeah, bro, Corey was wicked. Pfizer, dude, I don't know if Pfizer could be reacting to GSK. WTF, WTF. I know. HELOC, well, here's the deal. I wouldn't pull out money to buy another home unless it's like an amazingly good deal where you're going to be making money, like instantly. Otherwise, keep your house now, rent it out, and then go apply for a conventional loan. Because if that house that you own now, if you get it rented, it won't count against your debt to income. If you show the lender a signed lease, they will not count it. So assuming you could still qualify for a normal loan, you could keep that house, get it rented out, and get a normal loan. But it'll be like 20% down still, maybe 10% down, depending on who you use. What the fuck, CoreWeave and Max taking turns, really? I feel like they're going to crash epically. I think CoreWeave, what did I tell y'all is going to do? What did I tell you is going to go straight to? It's all a computer game, bro. You just got to wait till they hit that level. I fucking hate it. It's all a game, bro. It's all a fucking game. That's why when I'm like, oh, I can't believe I missed it. It's because of emotions. It's all a video game. It's all a video game. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's good, though. That's good. Oh, man. I just whiffed 1,000%er. That last call went 1,000 now. It's at $2. I bought it for 20. I sold it out at 60. That's why I was like, all right, word. Oh, it was in the money. What a day today, bro. Plays everywhere. My goodness. I just want long-term, though. This is all dumb. Give me my long-term. Give me Nike at $10. I know some of you wouldn't like that, but and then bring it back up. That's all I'm looking for. It's all I ever wanted, long time. So tell me what to buy now, 'cause we're at all time highs. Bow now. Yeah, man. The Pinduoduo went up? No, bullshit. I want China for tomorrow, but that play was terrible. Yeah, that play is back up. It's on the spread, that's why. It's pretty much the same price we bought it at. Hey, if AXP moves, man, I want you guys to hit that one. I couldn't find a move on that. It was kind of lagging a little bit. Badu, big dog. Oh, they came down. WTF. Bro, this whole day is WTF. I'm so excited for tomorrow. This whole week, bro, even Friday. So this is already crazy, but I'm sure you're going to get more. But lock and loaded, chatted on. Lock and loaded. Tomorrow's going to be weird. I didn't realize it till later. But do you guys not get it? You're not going to get anything tomorrow. That's what I realized about an hour or two ago. Is that I was like, wait a minute. They changed the date from the time from 3 p.m. to 4. And then Caroline Levitt is like, yeah, he's going to announce it after. And he has made up his mind. So I wake up at 4 a.m., right? That means I'm not going to find out the tariffs till 4 p.m. Eastern that same day. That means we are going to trade the whole entire market tomorrow, and you still will not have the announcement. Realistically, the tariff play is on Thursday. Because all day tomorrow, we're not going to get anything. So in a weird way, you're still going to get rumors and volatility leading into all of this. So, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say, man. That's why I'm like, oh. So we have a whole nother day of exactly what we just did today. Yeah, unless it's going to be a tweet. Is Sanofi, but a lot of medical plays just had some weird candles, but watch out. Sanofi on the low. WTF is about to hit 20. Core Weave at $6 to $7 a contract now. So that's it. If it was running already, it's there. Couple of other names. Finalize your plays. Again, you can play according to the trade, but like I'm telling you, if your play is trying to make money off of waking up tomorrow, I would reconsider that play. Because, again, the announcement is coming after the bell. So, really, Thursday is the hit. So, lock and load, baby. Lock and load. But you only have 1 minute! Go, 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 go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to wrap it up. Bring it home. Finalize your plays. You would think that this is your last moment. Tomorrow is Liberation Day, but nothing is announced until after the bell. We might get rumors beforehand. Uncertainty and volatility is up. But Chattadonia, you got to bring it home. Finalize your plays. You have less than 5 seconds. Speak now or forever hold your peace. 4, 3, 2, 1. God bless America. Ding 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 ding. Horna. Let's go. Oh, Chadadonia. Are you kidding me? We did it. We made it, baby. 7 hours in the books. What a wild day. What a wild day. All hitters. I need a good game in the chat, baby. It don't matter if you made money or lost money. I know you learned something, baby. Plays, news, vibes, personality, info. It don't matter. Were you in the game? Did you not get banned? I unbanned everybody. Did you not? Come on. Let's go, baby. Let's get another quarter. Don't turn back now. Don't give in to the disappointment now, baby. Get that long term and be prepared. You're ready for it. God bless Chadadonia. God bless America. Shout out the vets, baby. Good game. That's what I'm talking about. GG, I see you too, Twitch. Way to hold it down. Members, non-members, stream alerts. Were you in the game with the long term or not? Did you bring something to the table? Let's go. I love y'all, baby. You ain't have to donate. You ain't to do none of it, baby. And I didn't have to be here either. So that's why it works, baby. A brother born in the time of need. Good game, baby. I need me to rock. You won't see me a lot. Monday through Friday, you need me. Let's talk. Woo! Yeah, bro. No, that was a crazy start to the quarter. That was our first day of the quarter. We came out swinging, baby. We came out swinging. So either way, let's get ready for more, though. Don't get too jumpy. We have a lot more in store, baby. God willing, we'll see where it all takes us. Maybe it was all a fluke, April Fool's Day. We have to give it back tomorrow, but we took profits, so that's the good part. But Chad, I hope you enjoyed it. If not, we'll have many more opportunities for enjoyment. Let's go. Short-term memory. Don't take too much pleasure in right or wrong. We have more. Trump will consider a final proposal for TikTok tomorrow. Wow. But yeah, Chad, that's it, man. I love you. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, for real, man. It means a lot if you are vibing in the right way, bro. And y'all really here. Y'all ain't giving me any weird cryptic stuff. Y'all taking advantage of the long term, getting involved with it, not letting the little shit get in the way. Let's go, baby. But like I said on the PHILO, man, you got to get going. And this is the moment. And now you will be tested after starting off. What are you going to turn to at the first sign of disappointment, baby? Oh, yeah. So I hope you're ready. Trump is finalizing a plan for investors that could include Blackstone and Oracle. That's coming out now. But Chad, I love you, baby. My affection towards you. God bless. You have a good day. I say I'll give you one more, actually. We got a little bit. I think there's a couple of earnings. So let's see. I don't know.
Long term. It's a call, baby. Hey. Yeah. Ask me if I'm holding stocks. Please don't be ridiculous. I was holding shit and buying dips. You were a little kid. All I want is ownership, but I still put a limit in. No matter if you're young, you could always use a dividend. Know you want the money. I suggest you do not rush with it. Dias aren't plans. Make sure you don't fall in love with it. You ain't never saved. By the second month, you double it. Trading foreign currencies. I don't need a dumb on it. I don't need a translator. Nod my head and run with it. Mama always said, never marry, but have fun with it. Mama said that's wrong, but deep down, I always fuck with it. If you don't like my plan, do your thing. I wish you luck with it. Why they call me fan, but I don't see them at the holidays. Say that you're a man, but on the internet, you talking gay. Go ahead, you could cancel me, but don't act like you ever pay. You look dumb as fuck if only one of us is playing charades. Stop asking what I mean, bitch. That wasn't a parable. Just because they copied me don't mean that we're comparable. You support the phony, that just means your judgment terrible. An iPhone in your hands, you're a narc, that's a wearable. Didn't buy the stock, it was down, right in front of you. Didn't say I lost, my account looked like a W. You don't got the launch.
I don't see anything on the video, but more TikTok deal news.
I wouldn't put my trust in you, fuck it, dude. Hold my dick, I won't hold my tongue. Remember they were talking shit about Amazon when I was young. Oh wait, they did the same, it was Meta right in front of them. Think they'd have a little bit of shame from always looking dumb, nah. They on a diet and it's humble pie, it's 2025, you could kick it, you ain't gotta lie. Made $1 million buying value, I don't buy the hype. My girl is really classy, all you ratchet bitches not my type, why? They don't buy it till it reached the high. You picked the right thing, but you also picked an awful time. You would be surprised how making money make you fall behind. Maybe I offended, but that doesn't mean I told a lie, wow. You really like it when they lie to you, ignoring all the things you hear, denying what the eye produce. Help People isn't friendly if they helping you to tie the noose. You teach them how to steal your money every time you live and lose. Damn, I won't lie, my mama taught me that. Whoever sold you all those courses, you should probably take it back. It's all a bunch of bullshit, you would learn more if they told you that. I know you know the truth, so you still got time to go to that.
Repent. You picked the right thing, but you also picked an awful time. You will be surprised how making money make you fall behind. Maybe I offended, but that doesn't mean I told a lie. Wow. U.S. senators propose sanctions on Russia if it refuses Ukraine peace talks. More sanctions targets including Russian oil, gas, uranium, and buyers through primary and secondary sanctions. That song is already out, actually. Go to Uncle Answers on Spotify, and you got one, baby. You playing the plug? Well, thank you, baby, and welcome, Doug. All of you guys. I really appreciate it, man. That's why I'm saying I hope you get a long term. That is the number one thing, and I hope that you are a good addition to this community in many, many ways. And above all else, the best way to help the community is not to be a drag on it. You know, if you're ever confused by what that could mean, that's the easiest way. The best way to go to heaven is avoid hell. That's it. That's all. Oh, my goodness. So, Chad, I hope you feel me, and I hope you have a good day. We have a little bit more. I don't know if I might do what's it called? I might do a live watch list, but I don't think we need a watch list tonight. Again, nothing in yesterday's watch list on this channel covers all of it. I don't think there's anything, I don't know. That's it. The only update is that tomorrow after the bell. That's when we're going to get everything. So we will see. We might be able to stay longer, assuming he doesn't lag. So if he does he waits another hour, and then he's at another event by the time it's 4, and it's going to take him another hour to get there. I'm not waiting for an old man. I didn't wait for Biden. I'm not waiting for this one. You know what I'm saying? As a space cope. I did about that on Mars. Thank you. I like that song. I'm down. So Chad, I love you. God bless you. Thank you for your time. Go read the books. Richest Man in Babylon, Proverbs, New Living Translation, and The Strangest Secret in the World. And don't forget why we're here. Why we keep going. Why that faith, hope, and love ain't never going out of style. And why you must turn your heart to the good vices. And why you could train yourself to handle the disappointment, baby. Why, baby, why? Finger to the sky, baby. To God be the glory, and through the grace of God alone. Amen. Amen. Wow. Amen. I'll give you run it. I'm going to run it. I'll run it from the beginning. Banger. The first ever track, Uncle, released on any platform.
It's cold, baby.
It was this one. Wow.
Shit.
2019.
Space cold. I just bought that shit on Mars, thank you. I need a hack to take it far, make moves. Like somebody trying to take it out, plays fool. You just scoring Mars, that's about space cold. I just bought that shit on Mars, thank you. I need a hack to take it far.
It's a coat, baby. Launcher. I got 5 on it, got 10. I'ma pay myself before I pay another man. I'ma tighten up my belt, I won't ask you for a hand. I cut every single bitch off that wasn't with the plan, I won't lie. Sometimes I got scared, but a valuable lesson. Still standing here, I'm the crazy one, they're just being weird. Went and bought a whip the first time the check cleared, that's facts. Damn. take it back when I had to pay the tax. Looking at the stats, who could guess how I learned that?
Oh yeah, I can't leak them all to you. That one's just raw too. You know that. That's why it sounds so quiet. That's just raw. So don't hold Uncle. You know what I'm saying? I got 5 on it. I got 10. I'm gonna pay myself before I pay another man. I'm gonna tighten on my belt. I won't ask you for a hand. I cut every single bitch off that wasn't with the plan. I won't lie. Sometimes I got scared. But a valuable lesson. I'm still standing here. I'm the crazy one. They're just being weird. Went and bought a whip the first time the check cleared. That's facts. Damn. Try to take it back when I had to pay the tax. Looking at the stats, you could tell how I learned that. There's too many. I don't know. I don't want to leak them all to you. I can't. That's my problem. Uncle gonna sue me. You know what I'm saying? All right, Chad. Welcome to the quarter. That's why I hate this. You know that? We chose the worst profession. Every profession, even sports, when it ends, it ends. You know that? This is the only profession. Right when the quarter ends, the other one starts. You know that? Right when the year ends, another one starts. Right when the earnings end, it starts. Oh, man. I love it. It's made for crackheads. Brought to you by crackheads.com. Anyways, Chad, you have a good day. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you to the veterans. You already know, finger to the sky, baby. We already let y'all know. But amen, bro. We're blessed. And use that blessing. And I'm talking about the blessing of you being a human. Okay? Shout out the human race. For real. Y'all special. So any humans out there listening, that's if you a bitch, it don't apply to you. You get it? Because that's a female dog. So you choose. But if you are a human, shout out my human species. I love y'all. And let's get it, baby. I'm telling you, you're rare. Everlasting. The societies, the traitors, they don't fear me, dog. I'll let it run back again. It's too quiet, though. You know what I'm saying? We need more. We need more of it. But anyways, on that note, guys, I'll see you later. And peace out. God, I got 5 on it. I got 5 on it. It's a call, baby. What's he say next? It's our term. Not term. I can do that. Yeah. I got 5 on it. I got 10.
Pay myself
before I pay another man. I'm gonna tighten up my belt. I won't ask you for a hand. I won't. I cut him off. Bye.
Sometimes I got scared, but
I did. I got scared.
Still standing here.
Wow.
I'm the crazy one. They're just being weird. Went and bought a whip the first time the check cleared. That's facts. Damn. Try to take it back when I had to pay the tax. Looking at the stats, who could guess how I learned that? Forward and back, but we ain't going back again. This sky's grand, but I never seen the Vatican.
One more hand is how you give it back again.
Learned all the rules that don't mean that I was